Okay, welcome everyone to Advanced Real Estate Bootcamp. So today we're going to be talking about wholesaling, fix and flip, and rentals. So thank you everyone for joining. So we're going to start off by introducing our mentors, advisors. So thanks to them, we are here today. So Andrew Holmes, he's unable to join this morning. He's one of our mentors. Rahul Vishal, in fact, I saw them both yesterday at George Party, so it was great seeing them again physically. We have Frank on the line. Frank,
Yo,
welcome.
thank you. Well, hi Hugo.
Welcome, Frank.
Well, can you hear
Uh,
me?
yeah, we can hear you well.
Good.
So Frank has been a major mentor, contributor, advisor to my wife, myself, and ChicagoDealVault. So special thanks to you, Frank, and your team. Great supporter. His office, over 20 agents supporting ChicagoDealVault. So it's been amazing. Thank you, Frank. If you have some words for the audience, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, sure, Hugo. Thanks for the opportunity. Hey, everybody. My name is Frank Matro. I've been in the business for coming up on 39 years, I think, or 38 years, something like that. Who knows? A lot. You lose track when you're having so much fun. And basically, I am the go-to guy for investors. Raul and Andrew have me on their stage, and I'm the final speaker on the 3-day event. What I do is I'm all about providing value. So whatever you need, I got. And just a quick deal of the process as an investor is you have to buy right, rehab right, and then you have to either flip it correctly or rent it correctly. So we are experts in all those areas. And hello, can I help you?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Yeah, we're experts in that, in just, touching on when you buy houses, a lot of a third of my clients are realtors. And so you got to ask yourself, why would a realtor list their house with another realtor when they have to spend the money for listing? Because the amount of money that they save is by not making bad decisions, by going along with what I bring to the table is priceless. I've seen people come out and buy homes and lose $30,000-$40,000 because they don't know what they're doing. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So anyways, yeah. So what I do is I'm an expert, and we have, like I said, well over 30 years of experience. We're looking at tens of 20s of houses daily. We know the areas, the markets, the values better than anyone else. When I look at a home, I'm not just looking at the bricks and mortar. I'm looking at the surrounding, the area. We're looking at what influences the value, because it's not always 1 + 1 = 2, Hugo. As you well know too, sometimes 1 + 1 could equal 5 or -3. So sometimes if you look at two homes, you can have what is seemingly the same house on the same block is not always the case. So I remember this classic example, and this is why realtors come to me, because they don't want to, they don't want to do the work, and they don't want to go through the whole process of learning by losing. They want to learn by win. So you look at me as an insurance policy. When you hire me, you're basically minimizing your risk. That's what I do for investors, for realtors. I help them minimize their risk. We look at homes for, and I can go on and on about this, but I'll keep it short, Hugo, because I know you got a bunch. I'll give you one example. We had 2 houses on the same block. We bought one, we sold it literally overnight in one day. Then the second house was next to a dilapidated 11-unit building, Hugo, and we knew that it was going to be worth somewhere between $30,000 to $40,000 less, because a home, it's not just what the house is, it's where it is. And so if a homeowner is going to wake up and they walk outside every morning and see this dilapidated 11-unit building, even though it's in the heart of Beverly, they're not interested in it. Or they'll say, you know, it's not worth $250,000, it's worth $210,000. So that's where you hire me to tell you exactly what something is worth. Or on the flip side, we look at trends as well too. We don't just look at anybody can look at ABCs, but we also look at trends. So I'm looking to see what's going on. Our value is going up. What are the historical trends and the short-term historical trends? Is this area moving up? Can we ask more than what's been sold there? I remember when the market broke in 2008, and then it started coming back. We had a property in Bellwood, no basement, and the highest comp was $85,000, based on my 38 years of experience, based on looking at homes every day, based on being through 5 cycles, based on all this experience I have. I told my guy listed for $119,900. Offer came in for $115,000. I said, take it and run. And we got it appraised up for $115,000. So that's the kind of value that I bring. My experience is priceless. You can't get this in any book. You can't get this from other realtors. They don't have this grind, this hard work, this daily examining numbers and playing. I could talk about another huge thing, and there's a ton. I can spend an hour talking about different things that affect value. Like square footage. I've seen houses that look identical on the same block. I'm like, oh, okay, well, great. And so then investors will tell me, hey, that one sold for $220,000, so let's make an offer for so and so. I'm like, whoa, hang on a second, guys. That one is 400 square feet bigger. So if it's 400 square feet bigger, and the average amount that a inspector is going to give, the appraiser is going to give in that area per square foot is $40. So if we take 400 square feet times $40, we got $16,000. That difference. Now that could, if you're anticipating an additional $16,000 that you're not going to get because of the square footage, then you're going to take a big hit, and that may be a substantial part of your or maybe even all or close to all of the profit that you were planning on getting for that property. So that's why people go with me, Hugo, and that's why investors and realtors line up. In addition to that, I get a lot of off-market properties, so I mean, people want to say, okay, you got the goods, I'm gonna work with you. And I have a lot of people that I work with, including my agents, where we're constantly chasing off-market property. The inventory is tough now, so it's hard to get inventory through the MLS because there's always going to be multiple offers if it's a good deal. It's hard to find stuff on auction.com, Hubzu, Zone. I can go right down the line. Same thing, And then the share of sales, we're waiting for those to reopen. And I've got a lot of relationships with a lot of different smaller banks. Got relationships with guys that chase properties offline, from probates to pre-foreclosures to all of the above. And we're a one-stop shop. We find them for you. We price them right for you. We help you with contractors, and we help you with our exit strategy. I'm ranked, U.S. News and World Report has me ranked number 5 as speed to close in the Chicagoland area. And there's a reason for that. It's because I'm not the list and lead guy. So a lot of realtors they play what I call list and lead. They get the listing, put the sign in, and walk away. And they're waiting for their check at the closing. We start proactively working the second we get the listing. We go crazy all over the internet We list on over 100 sites. I have over 20 agents. We're all pounding the internet, IG, Facebook, everything. We're hitting all those different sites promoting your listings. This is why we're ranked in the top 5. So, Hugo, yeah, I mean, if you're interested, guys, if you're interested in having a conversation with me about off-market properties, about doing some business, about contractors, whatever you need, I'm a one-stop shop. My phone number is 708. I know it's up on the screen, but I'll give it to you anyway. 708-307-0777. 708-307-0777. The best thing to do, because I'm in a lot of meetings pretty much every day. The best thing to do is like right now. The best thing to do is to text me, and then I can get back to you as soon as I get out, because I don't really listen to my voicemails as frequently as I do my text. So if you want a quick response and you want to get up and meet for a virtual cup of coffee or for a real cup of coffee, please give me a call. Look forward to working with you. Again, my name is Frank Montrow. If you have any questions, I don't know, Hugo, I don't know if this is a question time or not.
Sure, sure. If people have any questions for you, they can ask you now. But yeah, they have your contact information. So friends,
Yeah.
please reach out to Frank and Frank's team. It's just incredible. I'm going to give you some examples of how Frank made us over 60,000 in 3 weeks. I mean, it's just insane, the brain power behind Frank Montrose himself and his team members. I mean, it's just incredible. His right arm, Reggie, and his entire staff. It's just super efficient and very knowledgeable in South, North, West, you name it. He's known for being the king of the South, but he encompasses pretty much the entire Chicagoland area, including the North. So please reach out to him. As he said, even if you just want to chat about the current economy, reach out to him. Please, real estate, it's a people's business. You've got to work with the top people. So thank you very much, Frank.
Hey,
Thank
hold
you,
on,
Hugo.
Frank.
Yes.
Hey, Frank.
Thank you. Yes. Hello?
Frank, it's Dan Clarton.
Hey, Dan.
Listen, for all the people on this call, I think most of you know this, but in life and particularly in business, it's kind of an equation of not only what you know and who you know.
Mhm.
And I guess what I'm telling you is when you know Frank Montrow, that changes the game for you and your investing future, because there's a lot of people out there that talk about real estate, and then there's some people like Frank that live it, that know it, and can guide you. Think of taking the kids to the bowling alley. It's not very much fun if they roll the ball and it goes in the gutter. The nice thing about knowing people like Frank is the blue bumpers on either side. So as you're rolling down that lane, the ball's going to stay in the lane, which means you're going to knock over some pins. And when you knock over some pins, that's what makes it fun. And that's what makes you want to play again, right? So, Frank, thanks for all you do for the community and the wealth of knowledge that you're willing to, Frank's what we call a go-giver. Whatever he can do to help you, just know that he will in advance. And
Wow.
that's a great person to know. So thanks for being here, Frank.
Wow. I'm speechless. I don't think I could have wrote that better myself.
What do you mean?
Thank you, Dan.
What do you mean you did write it?
I appreciate Dan. I've always appreciated you as well. And I have nothing but great things to say about you. And I know you're coming up and speaking, so I won't steal your thunder. I didn't have a prepared speech, but next time I'm gonna write a prepared speech about Dan and just go crazy and about how much value he brings to the table as well too. So coming from a person like you, Dan, that means a lot. Thank you very much.
Enjoy your day.
Thanks. You too, guys. All right, Hugo, I'm gonna sign off unless
Okay.
anybody else has anything else to say.
Okay, so yeah, I see in the chat people are going to get in touch with you, Frank, directly.
Okay, how do I get to the chat?
It's there's a drop down
Body
box.
edit, help
Chat.
function.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So they're gonna get back to you, and then we put your
Okay.
contact information up on the screen.
Okay, awesome, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, we just posted your contact information on the chat again. Thank you,
Okay,
Theo,
awesome.
for
Thanks.
posting that.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Frank.
Thanks,
Okay,
Hugo. Take
so
care.
thank you, likewise. So next we have Gary. Gary, are you on the line? Gary Davidson from Castle Law. I see there's a Gary online, but I'm not sure if it's you, Gary Davidson from Castle Law. Actually, I saw him yesterday. Um, we had a great chat at George's party. So Gary Davidson from Castle Law, he's our preferred attorney. He's #1 attorney in Illinois. Gary has provided us with all the legal contracts that we use, that everyone uses, that we have made available to all of you in Chicago DealVault. So Gary has been a major contributor, mentor to Chicago DealVault, to all the members, and also thank you for all his legal advice to his team and staff, over 16 people and his staff, again, #1 law firm in Illinois. So if there's anyone who can help, for instance, with wholesaling, assignments and double closing, he's an expert, okay, among other areas in real estate. So Gary Davidson, so we'll have his contact information on the screen. Again, please reach out to him. And then Dan Carlton, welcome, Dan. So we've known Dan for a couple of years. He's been an amazing contributor to Chicago DealVault, him and his partner Joe Mueller. So we met in person, and they said, Hugo, what about if we do this? What about if we increment this? So they've been an incredible source of knowledge, advice, guidance in everything we do, because if there's somebody who understands wholesaling and real estate, is Dan Carlton and his partner Joe Mueller. So the floor is yours, Dan. Thank you for being with us today.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Hugo, and welcome everybody. Just a little shout out to Hugo. I mean, Hugo is, an investor, as you know. He's developed this tremendous software in ChicagoDealVault, and one of the things that's made it so good, and what makes Hugo so good, is the fact that he doesn't come from a standpoint of, well, I know exactly what this is want to be, and it is what it is. From the very beginning, he's been asking, how do you like it? What should we change? What could we add? How could we make it better? And anytime that, for Joe and I, when we've said, hey, what about this? Or, hey, you think it's possible to add that? It was always met with, I think we can do that. Let me figure out how to do it. And that's really encouraging, because in life, usually people are trying to find reasons why they can't do things. And Hugo's always looking for the reasons why he can and how he can. And the result of that, not only from some of the input, I feel that Joe and I have supplied, but Hugo has a bunch of people that he relies on to steer the ship. And in the end, it's just merely made the product that much better and the user experience that much more powerful for everyone that has DealVault. So if you have DealVault, congratulations on making a good decision. If you're kind of on the sidelines and you're not real sure what this whole thing's all about yet, you're in the right place. Look, guys, let's face it. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, and there's a lot of things that you could be doing today besides being on this webinar. But the fact that you're here, frankly, says a lot about you and what you're looking to do in your life and in your investing career. And the thing that's so amazing to me about the whole investing thing is, unlike so many other professions, you have one job and you give a 2-week notice, and or you find another job and you make a smooth transition. And for people that get into real estate, I really don't know anybody that has a full-time job and says, I'm going to quit because now I'm going to pursue this. So this is the kind of thing where it's frankly kind of starts as a side hustle. So you have to kind of do an inventory of your life and the things you do and who you do them with. And you have to make some hard decisions about what things you're willing to give up in an effort to pursue this direction. Because last time I checked, no matter how much money you have and how much power you yield, right up to love him or hate him, the president of the United States, nobody gets more than 24 hours in a day. So the question is, how are you using them? How are you spending your time? Who are you spending your time with? And what things are you doing to improve your situation? And being here today is a very solid move in doing just that. Joe and I are investors. We hold rentals, we do flips, we do a ton of wholesales. You know, Andrew calls me the king of wholesale, but the reality and the truth is that wholesale is just one of the exit strategies. Frankly, we are in the off-market property acquisition business, and it's the pursuit of those properties upon getting them under contract that now we make decisions on what is going to be the best exit and what we're going to do with said particular property. The other thing that I would tell you all is that if you're listening to the national gurus and if you're getting in on all the hype sessions that are so readily available online, frankly, I think it sets the wrong expectation, because everybody wants you to think that this is so easy and you don't have to know anything and you make all this money, and then when it doesn't go quickly like that, it's easy to start having some self-doubt and thinking, well, maybe this isn't for me, and why is it so easy for everybody else? And the truth of the matter is, it's not easy, but make a decision that this is what you want and start taking steps every day towards it, even if they're baby steps. You can have all the right information and you can have ChicagoDealVault and you can have the right connections, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to actually take action. And particularly in the off-market space, we're talking about meeting people in their home. And when you're new, it's a little unnerving and you're not really sure how it's going to go. But, it kind of reminds me of the junior high dance where all the girls were on one side of the gym and all the boys were on the other. And a lot of the boys talked about what they wanted, but we had no idea how to get to the other side. And now many years later, most of those guys I know are married. So, I mean, I guess the point is, if there's something that you want, you figure it out, right? So this is the same way. I'm full transparency. When I started the pursuit of off-market properties, I'd have to actually go back and look, to give you the exact, but frankly, I think it was probably the better part of a year it took me to get my first off-market deal. And in the beginning, I probably sabotaged myself a little because I was filled with fear and doubt. To some degree, I was almost afraid that a seller would say yes and agree to the contract, because in the beginning, I had no wherewithal to actually close on that property. And my only exit was going to be to wholesale it. And I didn't have much of a buyer's list. And I think I was afraid that if they actually said yes, how was I going to actually unload the property? But in time, when I got that deal and I thought, holy cow, like if I add up all the hours and time I spent in pursuit of that first deal, which netted me a check of $6,000, if I did the math on the hours invested, I think I could have made more money flipping burgers at McDonald's. But like anything, you keep doing it and you're going to get better at it. And as you get better at it, you're going to get paid handsomely, far beyond what you're going to make flipping burgers at McDonald's, right? And so there was a time where I couldn't envision having 2 deals in 6 months, much less 2 deals in the same quarter. The idea of having more than 1 deal in a month was almost mind-boggling, knowing how long and how hard it took me to get that first deal. And I guess what I'm telling you is, if you stay with it and hone your skills and attend these kind of meetings over time, well, let's see. A week ago Thursday, I picked up a contract in Elgin. Then I left on Friday for Father's Day weekend to go see my oldest daughter and her kids, along with the new baby that's 2 weeks old. And my other daughters were out there with their husbands as well. I came back late Tuesday night and I picked up another contract on Friday. I picked up another contract yesterday, and that's 3 contracts in a week. I never could have envisioned that some years ago. I never would have guessed, but more than once, we've had 2 closings on the same day. So I think the challenge I would put out to everybody that's not actively pursuing these off-market properties, because if you're like me, you're always thinking you're one webinar away or one boot camp away from having all the information that you're going to need. And the truth is, I still don't have all the information. I'm learning and growing in what I'm doing every day. And so what I would suggest is the old saying of jump off the building and grow wings on the way down, because no 2 deals are going to be the same. They always have some kind of little wrinkle attached to them. And that's the value and benefit of community and friendships and building relationships with people that are on this webinar, people that you meet going to, Chicago RIA meetings and things like that, because none of us are ever going to be as smart as all of us. And that's why it's good in the days of when people used to watch Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It was always good to have the ability to phone a friend. And that's what real estate and community can do for you. And if you don't have anybody on that list to phone a friend, hi, let me introduce myself. My name is Dan Clarton. My number is 847-910-0454. That's my personal number. Feel free to call. I'm always willing to try to help if I can. I see in the chat box that Hugo has my name and the office number for Investors Title Services. So aside from the fact that Joe and I invest, we started an investor-friendly title company 2 years ago. And the whole idea behind it is that there's no reason to overspend to get deals closed. So if you're buying off-market properties where the buyer's going to pay all the closing costs, you're going to want to make sure to talk to us. If you're a flipper and you have a property that you've rehabbed and it's on the market and you're going to sell it, you're going to want to call us, because if you work with us and our people, we're probably going to save you $1,000 on that closing. And $1,000 doesn't sound like much, and $1,000 isn't a very big deal to some family that buys and sells their family home twice or 3 times in a lifetime. But if you're going to be an active investor and you're going to do 3, 5, 8, 10 houses a year, if you did 10 houses a year for 3 years, that's $30,000. I don't know where you come from. $30,000, that's a lot of money to me. So certainly you can go buy a $60 ribeye at Gibson's, and that's going to be a better cut of meat, and it's going to be more flavorful than the $18 hamburger. So I certainly get in life where we spend more to get more. But when it comes to title and title insurance and closing costs, at the end of the day, you're buying a house, and at the end of the day, as a seller, you're getting the money for the property you're selling, and there's no value in overspending to get that done. So feel free to call me. Happy to walk you through that. The side wrinkle of the title company business is, I jokingly say, it's the title and wholesale coaching business. So, I'm happy to, kind of help you walk the steps to get these deals done. Hugo has my email address up there at Dan and Investors Title Services, LLC.com. The right one when I'm done here. Actually, the right one is on the screen in the middle there at the bottom. But I'm happy to send you a prepaid cash deal contract that we've used on over 100 deals. Its simplicity is the key to it, because the whole idea is we want people signing contracts when you're with them, not let me think about it. And the only way to get that done is to have it be simple. So I'm happy not only to send you the contract that I signed with people 3 times in the last 6 days, but I will also be happy to walk you through the presentation of that contract when you're with the seller. Because although it's super dumb simple, there's a couple psychological hacks in there that I'd like to walk you through so that you can use it efficiently and get contracts signed. And so anyways, that's what we do, and that's what I'm happy to do, because I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for the help of other people and other people taking the time to invest in me. And it would be malpractice for me not to want to try to do the same for other people, because real estate can offer a lot of opportunities. I mean, it's hard work, but I've got a couple of deals I could tell you about. And frankly, if I wasn't in the middle of those deals and someone told me these deals and how much profit was made, I would have to probably call them a liar. But the truth is, this is real, and there's always going to be housing. People will always need a place to live. And for as long as people own houses, sadly for them, there's always going to be distress. So there's going to be people that are behind on taxes. There's going to be people that are behind on mortgages. There's going to be people that have houses that have been neglected and need all sorts of work. There's always going to be people that are inheriting family houses that need to liquidate them quickly and efficiently. And at the end of the day, when we work off market, we are not in, we're in the real estate business, but that's really just a widget. Ultimately, we're in the people business, and we're in the helping people business. And we try to help people cross the chasm from where they are in a situation that they have with a property to a better place. And if we can get that done, we can get paid handsomely, no different than attorneys that help people with legal issues. They get paid handsomely. Doctors help people with medical issues. They get paid handsomely. So if you can help people solve problems, I guess what I'm telling you is you can get paid handsomely, and you don't have to go to med school to be in real estate. So let's see, let me look and see. That's all the right information. So that's my personal cell phone number. That's the office number for Investor Title, which frankly just rings basically through to me anyways. So you might as well just call me on the cell number. And there is my email address if you would like to email me and ask for a copy of the contract that I use when I'm with sellers. And lastly, if you are an active investor already and you are positioned as a cash buyer and you have resources to close deals quickly and efficiently on the buy side, and you'd like to be on our buyers list, or frankly, maybe you just want to get on the buyers list to see the kind of properties we send out and to run the numbers yourself and use that as kind of a learning curve experience thing as well, then by all means, go ahead and text reinvest to 22828, and you'll have to opt in and all that kind of stuff, but that'll get you on our buyers list. Frankly, we don't send out all the deals. We have a lot of deals that as I'm signing the contract, I already know who's going to buy it or which 3 people probably will buy it. And we make a couple phone calls and move the property. So the fact that we don't send out every deal isn't necessarily an indication of how many deals we quote are or aren't doing, if that makes sense. Before I go, does anybody have any quick questions that I might answer? Did anybody
Perfect.
just hear everything I just said?
So friends, please make sure that you reach out to Dan. Phil was able to post Dan's contact information and what number to text, 22828 reinvest. Please get in touch with Dan. He's an amazing resource. And his partner, Joe Mueller. Okay, so Dan, thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for your kind words and your words of wisdom to everyone on the webinar today.
Believe in yourself. You got this. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Thanks,
Thank you,
Hugo.
Dan. Thank you, Dan. Likewise. Okay, so that's Joe Mueller, his partner from Tanis Group. So they both work together. He's among the top 5 REO brokers in Illinois. Okay, so great resources. I have Joe Mueller's contact information on the screen. Please also make sure that you reach out to Joe Mueller because, again, it's a people's business. You've got to have the top people as your team members, okay, for them to guarantee your success. I mean, it's just an incredible resource. So now our sponsors, we have Welcome Juan Loya from Homebridge. He's also been an incredible resource, sponsor, help, friend. Juan, are you on the line? I see your name.
Yeah, Hugo. Thank you for having me on the Frank Montreux and Dan Clarton Hour.
So the floor is yours.
Yeah, no,
Juan.
thank you. Thank you. So, I appreciate everything you've put together, Hugo. You and the Deal Vault are an amazing resource for all of us as investors and those that are just getting into investing and those that are seasoned investors. This is a fantastic tool. So I love using it and love sharing this with other people. I am a residential mortgage lender. So many times where I get involved is going to be as investors are buying, fixing, and want to keep these properties as long-term rentals. Me and my team, we would step in to help them with the takeout loan for long-term financing. The other place that we get involved would be for people's primary residences. Wherever they live, you have to be working with a residential lender. Commercial lenders do not lend on the primary residence, so that would be another place that we can help people, really get their financial house in order so that they can put themselves in a position to invest. So I am also a real estate investor, so you really become who you hang out with, and I made a decision a few years back, Hugo, to hang out with people like you, and it becomes contagious. So now I am, the proud owner of some rental properties as well, and that has been, a great legacy that I can build and pass on to my children. So I'm very thankful for this community that has been built. So following the, again, if we follow the process, I know it works. In a period of about a year and a half, I was able to buy, fix, rent, and refinance. I now own 20 properties. So that's been, again, a fantastic testament to what we can do if we're just surrounded by the right people, and everybody you have on the call are the right people. So I thank you for that.
Thank you, Juan. So Juan from Homebridge, he's a preferred conventional lender. What's great about Juan is that not only does he understand the back-end financing of any properties, but he's also an investor himself. So when you work with Juan, he's gonna pretty much take you step by step through the process. And then today we're going to cover when we use Juan on the back end, okay? But the great thing is that he understands, he's connected with the top players in the industry, and himself, he's built a great rental empire in the last year and a half or so. So if there's somebody who understands the secrets, the formulas, is Juan Loya. So thank you, Juan, for being a great sponsor, resource, mentor, advisor, friend. We greatly appreciate.
Thank you.
So lucky to have you as part of the network. Okay, so next we have Nancy Villacorta from Chicago Funding. Is Nancy on the line? Okay, so pretty much what Nancy does is Harmony Lending. Okay, so we'll wait for her to join, and then she'll have a few words for all of you. Then we have George Wyatt. George, are you on the line? Home inspector. Okay, so please make sure that you reach out to George. He's an incredible inspector. He's sort of like an insurance company or policy that you buy when you get a property on the contract, because you have 5 days to do your home inspection, attorney review. So he will find out potential deal breakers on the property. So it is pretty much mandatory to have a home inspection. He's an incredible inspector. He saved us thousands and thousands, not only on preventing us from buying junk properties, but also when he writes the inspection reports, we use those to get credits from the seller. So even if we've spent, let's say, 5,000 on inspection reports, we've gotten back twice as much in credit. So please reach out to George. In fact, George hosted George from Blueberry Pancake House party yesterday. So he owns a beautiful home facing the lake, a pool. So it was a great party. George, thank you for hosting that. That was just incredible. And most of the top key players in the industry were there last night. Okay, so next we have Gina Diaz. I believe she's not on the line. Desiree Wilson from Fidelity. another resource for title insurance. Okay, she's an incredible person to work with from Fidelity. Please make sure you reach out to them. We have all these sponsors on ChicagoDealVault on their preferred partners. Okay, so we'll give you access to that. Vincent Pace, are you online, Vince? Okay, so Vince from Albecam, Harmony Lender. If you get online, please let us know. Then Patrick Noon, I saw you were online. Patrick Noon from PJN Tax Solutions. Are you on the line, Patrick?
Yes, I am, Hugo.
Awesome. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, Patrick. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Patrick Noon, PJN Tax Solutions Group. I put my information in the chat box, but I'll put it in again before I leave. I have meetings scheduled for 2 p.m. this afternoon. And I want you to picture this, if you would, for a moment. You own 3 rental properties, and it's the middle of January in Chicago. Somebody slips and falls on property A, and you do not have yourself incorporated. In other words, you're operating as a sole proprietor or an unincorporated entity. What you're looking at is unlimited liability for not only that property where somebody slipped and fell, but also properties B and C. I met with real estate investors this morning at my office. I'm there pretty much 7 days a week because this is the tax season that would not die. And that's how they're operating right now. They have 3 rentals. And so I strongly recommended that they meet with an attorney and either set up a single member LLC or an S corporation to insulate themselves from any potential liability, because it's not a question of if it'll happen, but when it'll happen. What we do is we work with taxpayers. We keep them in compliance with the IRS, meaning we file all necessary returns on a timely basis. And we also work quite a bit lately with what we call troubled taxpayers, which are either individuals or businesses that have either fallen behind in filing returns, or if they have a large outstanding balance due and can't write one check to make the IRS go away. Working right now with an individual who owes like the last 10 years worth of returns. So my office is local. I'm in St. Charles. We don't charge for the first consultation. That's complimentary. And we've worked with and known Hugo and Andrew and the rest of the group for quite a while now. So if you need anything tax related, please feel free to give us a call. We're at 630-415-5296. And again, we're in St. Charles. Feel free to give us a call. Thanks, Hugo.
Perfect. Thank you, Patrick. So everyone, we posted Patrick's contact information. Please make sure that you reach out to him. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of questions tax related. Please reach out to Patrick. He's an amazing resource. So thank you, Patrick. Okay, let's continue. So this is our team. So right now we have online Natalia, Phil, and Lovely, who are helping us posting our sponsors' contact information online, and they've been a great resource. So this is our team that behind ChicagoDealVault makes things happen. So special thanks to Natalia, Phil, and Lovely, who are spending their Sunday with us tonight. Without them, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you, Natalia, Phil, Lovely. I'm so proud of you, and you've done an incredible work. Okay, so thank you for everything you do. Next. Just a quick disclaimer. So we will be sharing and introducing you to our strategies that have made us successful. Okay, there's no guarantee what has worked for us is going to work for you, but we're going to do our best to give you everything that you need to make sure you have that freedom of time, most important, and financial freedom. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to skip the virtual speed networking for now, because we're going to dedicate an event just to do speed networking virtually. Okay, so throughout the presentation, you're going to see a few icons, the Blue Angel and the Lamborghini. So what that means is that we're going to make some of the handouts available to our monthly members or our yearly members. Okay, that's what it means. But pretty much at the end of the presentation, you are going to get an email for those of you who are attending with a lot of resources, handouts for every segment that we cover today. So that goes from spreadsheets to reports and so forth. Okay, so I want to make sure that you leave with tangible assets that are going to be very helpful for you. So are you ready to change your life? I'm sure you're all ready. I'm so proud that so many people joined this morning. So again, as I said, you're going to be given a gift for all of you who stayed towards the end. So W's and doers. I like to say that today in this meeting, we have both dabblers and doers. So dabblers, who are dabblers? Dabblers are the people who love to see, listen, and learn. But guess what? They find every possible reason in life to not take action, not move forward. While the doers, they don't exactly know how things are going to work for them, but they know how it's being working for other people, including ourselves, and they have faith in themselves that it's going to work out for them. So what we figure out is that doers are the ones who really get ahead in life. So the great news, friends, is that today you're going to have the choice to decide which one you want to be. You want to be a dabbler or you want to be a doer. So the option is yours. I hope you choose to become a doer today. Okay. So how many of you would like to be more successful in the near future than you've been in the past? All of you, right? How many of you would like to be happier, have more joy in your life than you've had in the past? I'm sure all of you. And how many would like to make more money in the near future than you've made in the past? Of course, all of us, right? That is why we're here. So my goal today is pretty much to blow your mind. That's it. So we're going to give you a lot of information. So I'm going to share three things with you today. My story, I'm going to give you the ultimate freedom blueprint for you to achieve that freedom of time and financial freedom. And most importantly, we are going to drive the presentation based on the current economy, the current pandemic. So we're going to share the stories and the strategies that are going to work for you today, in the next 6 months, and the next 12 months. So we have adapted this bootcamp today for you to totally leverage from what's going to happen in the next 6 and 12 months. So you are ready to pull the trigger when needed. So we're going to tell you what to stay away from, what to do next, and what you need to prepare to truly be successful in real estate. And then finally, we're going to share the 3 keys for you to getting off to a very fast start. So we're going to start with who this works for. So pretty much what we're going to talk about today is for anybody, newbies, seasoned investors who want to do wholesales, flips, and buy and holds. And especially we're going to be focusing on people who want to build $1 million empire in rentals. Okay, so we're going to start with my story. For those of you who don't know it, I'm going to keep it very short. So about 2.5 years ago, my wife and I knew that we wanted to be in real estate. And actually, my ultimate desire in life is for my daughters to be proud of me, to have somebody to look up to. Unfortunately, about 2.5 years ago, that didn't quite happen. So we knew we wanted to be in real estate, right? So we bought a property. We wanted to do a flip. We were super excited. Guess what? We bought a property that had about 5 sump pumps in the backyard. So you can imagine, to me, I thought it was so cool, so amazing. But to my surprise, we couldn't sell the property. We put a lot more money that we needed to on the rehab, and we could not sell the property. So up until today, the property does not cash flow, it breaks even. And the second property was gonna turn out to be a rental that we bought in a bad neighborhood. We put the wrong tenant and we hired the wrong contractor. So you can imagine we ended up doing an eviction. So I was feeling very disappointed with myself. I just didn't want to know anything about real estate. And then something bad happened. 2 years ago, I lost my full-time job, which meant I could not support my family. So I quickly fell behind my bills. And I was very fortunate that my wife, Frida, was able to support the family. But you can imagine, I was supposed to be the man in the relationship. and I could not support my family. So I felt as a failure as a husband. I felt depressed. I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to know anything, especially about real estate. And then guess what? One weekend, my wife came up to me and she said, "Hey, Hugo, I've got these tickets for an event this weekend. Get ready." I was totally excited. I thought it was going to be like a concert or going somewhere. And then she goes, "Well, it's a real estate event." I was like, "You've got to be kidding me. I mean, don't you see that this is not for us?" She dragged me to this event. So this event organized by Chicago RIA, Andrew Holmes, Rahul Vishal. Um, so at this event, they brought flippers, wholesalers, investors. It was just incredible because they were so successful that to me, I was just so shocked. I was like, I mean, this is the light at the end of the tunnel. What is it that these people have that I don't have? What is it that they possess? I mean, I was just fascinated by their success. So I was determined to figure out what those successful people had in common because what Dan Carlton said earlier, he said, these people that were brought on a stage, or even Andrew Holmes or Rahul Vishal, they make 100 more times money than you and I combined, right? But do you think they have 100 more hours in the day than you and I combined? Of course not. They only have the same number of hours. Do you think they have 100 more times the IQ than you and I combined? Of course not, right? So what is it that these very successful people have in common? So we figure out, we crack the code. They have three things in common. All the top players. They have, number one, a great deal. Number two, they understand basic analysis. And number three, they have funding. Well, guess what? They have funding because of reason number one, they have a great deal. That is why they get funding. So what we did is we tap into the knowledge and wisdom of 6 to 8 investors who met three requirements: that they made money in up and down cycles, that they had done at least 100 transactions a year, and that they had done it consistently for the past 5 to 10 years. And the people that we tap into their knowledge and wisdom are our current sponsors, mentors: Andrew, Rahul, Dan Carlton, Joe Mueller, Frank Montrose, just to mention a few. Okay, so they've been in the business for a long time and they know ins and outs. So after tapping into their knowledge and wisdom, we figure out that, guess what? Out of everyone that goes into real estate, only 2 to 5% of the people are truly successful, just like them. And the rest, 95%, doesn't mean they failed, but they just don't make it to the level they could. So I was determined to shrink down the difference, to level the playing field, because it's about time for ordinary investors like you and I to join the ranks of the pros. It's about time for us to start taking the home run deals they're taking, right? So the end result was that we created a real estate automation solution nowadays called ChicagoDealVault that allowed us to do 29 rentals in the last 2.5 years, cash flowing between $350 to $500 per month per property. And the end transformation in our life has been that we're doing what's truly meaningful in our life. So we're spending quality time with our loved ones. We will never, ever, ever miss a single highlight of our daughters again, okay? And in fact, we were in Mexico City for the last 2.5 months. We spent an amazing and incredible time with family. We traveled. It was just incredible, right? Had we not been in real estate and own rentals, we wouldn't have been able to have that freedom of time, which is incredible, right? Because life is short and a life without freedom is not a life. So you may wonder, why are we giving you all our secrets, strategies? You know why? Because we were, my wife and I, in your shoes 2.5 years ago. So I want to make sure that you are able to replicate our success. Not only that, we just have compiled the steps that you need to follow, the A through Z blueprint for you to become successful and start with the right foot and avoid all the painful mistakes we've gone through. Okay, that is why we are committed and we put this community together of a great team members and investors for you to mimic their success, our success, and join the ranks of the 2 to 5% truly successful people who come in real estate. And guess what? Most people are afraid and they think that people fail because they don't have money or credit, but that's absolutely wrong. The reason why people fail is because they just can't find it. They don't know how to get a great deal. So what I'm going to show you today is where those amazing deals are and how you can buy them. Because guess what? If you have an incredible deal, you can do a wholesale, you can do a buy and hold, you can do a flip, you name it. Okay. So that is my story. We cracked the code, we created Chicago Deal Vault, and in 2.5 years, we built now 29 rentals. So transformation has been incredible. So I want to make sure that you also achieve and have that blueprint of freedom, financial and time freedom, because guess what? Time never comes back. That's something that is an intangible asset that is, to me, extremely precious. Okay, so I want to make sure that you are successful today, not tomorrow, not in a few weeks, not in months, years, no, today. So that is why we are adjusting this bootcamp today to the current crisis and economic contraction that we are going over. So imagine, what would you do with that extra income, right? So $400 or $500 per property, per door. What would you do with that extra time, right? What would your family members think of you, right? So that is why we're going to give you the ultimate freedom blueprint. So we're going to start off with some fundamentals, okay? Because I want to make sure that we set the ground for everyone to understand just the basics. Before you start thinking about real estate, you've got to not only understand, but have these fundamentals set for you, okay? Once we talk about fundamentals, then I'm going to talk about the current situation today, in 6 months and in 12 months. And based on that, we are going to adjust our strategy. So we're going to talk about wholesaling, fix and flips, and rentals adjusted to the current economy. So it's going to be so cool. I'm super, super excited. Okay, so let's quickly cover the fundamentals to get them out of the way. We're going to start just with basic concepts that everyone should understand. And this is just a reminder. I'm sure everyone understands income, expenses, assets, and liabilities. Very simple. So what I'm going to explain to you how the rich become richer and why the poor become poorer, okay? So it's very simple. We're going to start off with the rat race, right? Most people live paycheck to paycheck. They work for somebody else. So, and this is how we were brainwashed. So it's not your fault, okay? This comes from generations after generations. We are brainwashed to what? Go to school, get a job, get married, buy a house, buy a car, and save for college for our children, right? So that's how we are programmed since we're little. It's not your fault, okay? But let me tell you the problem. The problem with this rat race is that not only are you going to school for at least 16 years, okay, but they have never, ever taught us how to become financially independent. We are just taught to go get a job and work for somebody else and expected to work 40 to 60 hours. And to make things worse, guess what? The government is going to tap into your income. They're going to take out 20 to 30% in taxes. And guess what? You will still live paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes you're going to struggle trying to make things meet financially, right? So what's the benefit? Is that a life that you want to live in? Of course not, right? You want to have freedom of time, meaning you want to do whatever you want to do when you need to do it. You need to do what you truly like. Life is too short. A life without freedom is not a life. Not only that, but you need that financial freedom where if you want to spend and buy something that you want, you should be able to do that without limitations. And guess what? The answer is in real estate, but you've got to know how to do it. And I'm going to show you how the rich get richer real estate by leveraging from debt and taxes. And on the same note, how the poor become poorer with debt and taxes. So how does that work? Check this out. So most people have a job, right? and then they are going to pay taxes, right? So not only that, but the poor incur debt and taxes. So that makes the poor poorer. And some people, like middle class, start to become smarter. So they buy a house, but guess what? So you have income, and then income coming from one pocket, and guess what? It goes out the other pocket via mortgage, taxes, insurance, utilities, right? So at the end of the day, you're pretty much back to step 1, 0, right? You don't have any savings. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. And let me give you the secret of the wealthy, why the wealthy become richer and richer and wealthier, leveraging from debt and taxes. So this is what the wealthy do. They buy assets, they buy rentals. So what's the difference? Why are we putting the same house, on assets and liabilities? What's the difference? Well, liability is something that is going to trigger an outflow of cash. So it's going to be an expense. Assets is going to be the opposite. An asset is going to put income into your pocket. So what's that income? Cash flow. So when they buy assets, guess what? They're leveraging from debt. So they're getting a mortgage, but they never pay a single penny for the mortgage. Guess who pays for the mortgage? You're right, the tenant. The tenant pays for the mortgage when they pay the rent. Not only are they paying for the mortgage, they're paying for the utilities, and they're putting cash flow in the landlord's pocket, meaning cash flow. That's how they leverage from debt, and they become richer and richer and richer because they just incur more good debt that is not paid by them. It's paid by the tenants in the form of rent. The rent is going to pay for the mortgage, all the expenses to run the property, and on top of that, you end up cash flowing money on a monthly basis. That's called passive income, and that's what everyone needs, especially in this crisis. You need cash flowing properties today. Why? Because people will always need a place to live, right? So regardless of the economy, you will always perceive passive income through rentals. Another example is a vehicle, right? A vehicle ends up being a liability for most people because it's just an expense, the car payment, the insurance, and so forth. Guess what the rich is going to do? They're going to buy a fleet of taxis that will, guess what? Generate income, increase cash flow. You see the difference? So ideally, you invest in appreciating assets, meaning properties, houses, because over time, they appreciate in value, rents go up, your net worth will go up. Depreciating assets like vehicles, over time they lose value, even though they generate income, but they lose value. So you want to stick to appreciating assets, assets that will increase in value over time. That's where you need to put your money. In other words, rentals. So this is just the foundation and show you how the rich become richer. Now, taxes. How do they leverage from taxes to become richer? Let me give you the secret. When you buy assets, real estate properties under your entity, okay, your corporation, guess what? You have tremendous advantages. One of the biggest one is obviously asset protection. So your personal assets are protected from a lawsuit. Number two, tax benefits. The biggest ones, there are two, but my favorite one is depreciation, and the second best is interest deduction on the mortgage. Okay, but depreciation is huge to the point that if the rich make $100,000, guess what? They get to keep most of them. Whereas if you're in the rat race, you make 100,000. Guess how much the government keeps? 20 to 30% of it. That's not fair. So what I'm going to give you today is our secret, our strategies for you to leverage from debt and taxes like the rich. Why? Because we were never taught that in school up until I took that seminar at the through Andrew and Rahul. They taught us how to become financially independent and have that freedom of time, which is what I'm going to show you today. Okay. So again, taxes are going to be huge. And again, when you buy properties under your corporation, you are going to have access to a lot more funding because lenders like to give money to corporations, not to individuals like you, like you're under your name. Why? Because if you default, guess what? They're going to need to take you to the foreclosure process, which in Illinois is going to take up to 2 years because it's a judicial state. We're going to talk about that in more details. Whereas if the money is given to your entity, your corporation, guess what? They can foreclose on your property in less than 6 months. So huge difference. That's how the rich become richer and wealthier. Okay. So are you all getting this? I hope you're all getting these very simple concepts that are extremely powerful. So we're just going to cover what you need to focus to become financially free. So you've got to focus on rentals. That's passive long-term income versus short-term, right? Like doing flips, wholesales, that's short-term. You've got to run on the treadmill. If you stop working, guess what? Your income goes down to zero. If you own rentals, you can stop working and you still perceive passive income from tenants. So you're leveraging from other people's money, other people's time. So these are the 4 quadrants that I love to share from Robert Kiyosaki. Most people are W-2, so they work for somebody, they have a job, they have to run on the treadmill. If they stop or if they get laid off, it's a big problem, right? Because then they don't have income to pay their basic necessities. When you become self-employed, now you have a job. You own a job, right? You don't have one, you own a job, which means that you are still running the treadmill. Examples, contractors, flippers, inspectors, attorneys, and so forth. So you better be working, otherwise your income goes down to zero. So that's the drawback of that. Now, the third one is when you own a system, you're going to be leveraging from other people's money, a turnkey business that already generates income, but it's expensive, right, to get into these to begin with. Therefore, you need to be on the 4th quadrant, investor, where you are not going to be chasing money. You're going to have money working for you in the form of owning rentals, because the tenants are going to be running the treadmill. They're going to be working, paying rent, and therefore they're going to be paying for the debt or mortgage that you take out. Not only that, they're going to be putting positive cash flow in your pocket. So if you want to chillax, take some time off like we did, you can afford to do that, right? And you are not going to be working for somebody else, okay? So you're just going to own rentals. Therefore, you have freedom of time and obviously financial freedom through passive income. So now let's start. What is it that you need to get started? You have to set up your entity, your corporation. So there are many forms of corporation. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what they are. But most importantly, I'm going to suggest which ones you should use, whether you're going to do a flip, wholesale, buy and hold. Okay, so we're going to start by going over what they are. But I'm going to highlight the disadvantages, okay? Why you should not use sole proprietorship, because if there's a lawsuit, they can go after your personal assets, okay? So it's a big no-no to have a sole proprietorship. If you have a limited partnership, it's pretty much the same. Not only that, it gets a little bit worse. You're also liable for the actions of other partners. So the disadvantages overweigh the advantages. Now, C corporation, the big problem with this entity type is that you're going to be taxed at the corporate level and then at the personal level. So the best options that you have now is S corporation, because it avoids double taxation and you are protected. So the first point is limited liability. Okay, so that means if you're sued, they cannot go after your personal assets. Okay, so you're protected and you avoid double taxations. So who should create an S corporation? If you are a single investor, single individual, one person, create an S corp. If you have a partner, or it's going to be more partners, 2 or more, create an LLC, because the benefits of the LLC are the same. You avoid double taxation, and not only that, you also have limited liability and you're leveraging from your partner's strengths, okay, to build a stronger and more successful business. So either you create an S corp for a single individual, or an LLC. Now, whether you do a fix and flip, buy and hold, or wholesale, you can have either one of these two entities, S Corp or LLC. This works for all three of them. When you're doing wholesales, you don't need to have an entity. You can do them under your name, but ideally, we recommend for you to have an entity. Okay, so now I'm gonna just reiterate the biggest benefits of having an entity. Number one, you're gonna get funding because banks like to give money to corporations because if you default, they can take out the asset from you quicker than if it's given to your own name. Number two, tax benefits, depreciation, it's huge. And number three, obviously asset protection. So when you buy properties and you have, you start building equity in the properties, they are sitting in an entity. So if you are sued, you are protected. On top of it, you obviously need to have what's called an umbrella policy. So if the lawsuit exceeds a certain amount, then the umbrella liability kicks in. So you've got to be totally protected. We'll make sure that you reach out to our insurance partner so that you always have to have an umbrella policy just to be protected on the right note. So how to get incorporated? These are the resources. My favorite is LegalZoom. It's going to take you half an hour to fill out a wizard to get established as a corporation. Make sure that you select either an S Corp or an LLC. But it's going to be about 350 up to 600, depending on the plan that you pick. And you can get incorporated in half an hour. You're going to get all the documentation, everything back from them in about a week. If you pay an expedite fee of about 125, you can get everything done in like 3 days. It's just crazy. It is super important. Make sure that you create your entity. Number two, once you create your entity, open up your, go to the bank and open up a business checking account. Okay, that's just foundation. Number three, super important, apply for business credit cards. So we're going to give you about 7 banks that you can apply for business credit cards. Why is that huge? Because I'm going to show you when we talk about rentals how you can leverage from business credit cards for cash advances to do rehabs. To pay for rehabs, you can use credit cards. So it's huge. If you need money for the down payment, meaning cash for the down payment of a property, guess what? You can tap into the cash advances of credit cards. And what's really, I have to mention this, it's super important that blew my mind is that banks, business credit cards, they're so flexible when giving money for business credit cards. I mean, it was just insane. I requested line increases for every other month on a business credit card, and I ended up reaching like, it's crazy, 120,000 in credit. And guess what? I don't have a job. I don't have W-2, no 1099, nothing. I just blew my mind, right? So I was just placed on hold for a few minutes. They asked me a few questions, why you need the increase, you know, business growth, and just hold, Mr. Galicia. After a few minutes, your line increase has been approved. I was just blown out of the water. How flexible. And not only that, but not too long ago, about 3 weeks ago, I got one of the business credit cards line increased by like 10,000 without me requesting that. And on the other hand, guess what? I called my personal credit card. I just have like 20,000 line of credit there. I wanted 30 when I was in Mexico, just in case. Guess what? They denied me. So I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And it was the same bank, Bank of America. So if you have a personal credit card, tough luck, okay? But if you have a business credit card, oh my goodness, it's like there are so many loopholes. I don't know, but it's just insane. The amount of credit that you can tap into when you have a business credit card. So please make sure that you apply. We're going to give you about 8 of them that you should apply. There are companies that can apply on your behalf, but guess what? They're going to charge you 10% fee of whatever credit you get. In our case, we didn't know any better, so we paid this company 10%. So they were able to get us 7 business credit cards amounting to 40,000 line of credit. So we ended up paying 4,000. I was so upset because all they did was to fill out forms online. I just couldn't believe it. I could have done that in an hour, and they did it for us, and they charge us 4,000. So I'll save you that money. Next, apply for line of credit. So what this is we're going to give you the list of about 22 Harmony lenders. We're going to talk about Harmony lenders in the next segment. But in a nutshell, it's expensive money, short term, but these lenders can give you the money like in 2-3 weeks to buy a property. So what they can do for you is they will assess your liquidity, your credit, and based on that, they're going to give you a line of credit. So think of this as a huge credit card. So this is an example of one of them. So based on your liquidity, they're going to give you a line of credit to do fix and flips or buy and holds, whatever you want to do. So you're going to use these when you make an offer to a property. You need to attach the line of credit just to make sure that you give the seller the confidence that you're going to follow through on the transaction. Okay, so make sure that you apply for that. We're going to give you over 22 Harmony lenders that are lending today in this economy. The next thing that you need to understand is what I said, Harmony lenders. What's the difference between Harmony lenders, private money lenders, and conventional lenders? So again, Harmony lenders in a nutshell, it's expensive money, short term, about 4 months, 2 points, but you can get the money fast if you want to buy a property. And most importantly, what I love about these is that they are asset-based. They care about the property having equity and cash flow. They don't care about so much your job, your credit, your experience. No, they care about you having a great deal, which now makes sense why the rich and successful real estate investors become richer, because they have a great deal. Therefore, they get money, they get funding for it. Okay, so it's asset-based. Okay, and next we have private money lenders. So it's pretty much the same thing. The only difference is that between the two of them is that the private money lenders are individuals like you and me who have a lot of money, who chose to be passive in real estate. So they're giving money to you as an investor or me in exchange for interest rate, like a return around 12%, 2 points. Again, it's a short-term loan, but here it's who you know. You've got to build relationships like, Dan and Frank and Joe Mueller. Get in touch with them. It's all about relationships, okay? Build relationships. That's going to get you very far into this business. So again, this is short-term, 12%, 2 points for 4-month term, okay? And then finally, we have conventional, like Homebridge, Juan Loya. That's where they come into the picture. We don't use them on the upfront purchase. We only use them on the refinance on the back end. Why? Because they expect the property to be in great shape, right? Even with utilities on, which is not always the case, especially if you buy a banked-on property, utilities are going to be off. It's winterized, no appliances. So these banks are not going to lend. And the cool thing is that when you use Harmony lenders and private money lenders on the purchase, they can also finance 100% of the rehab, which is huge, okay? So once you bought the property, rehab the property, then you get in touch with conventional lenders to refinance and then pay off the Harmony lender, and then just put the loan in a longer term, lower in interest rate, like a 30-year, 5.5 interest rate, because right now the interest rates are historically low, right? So refinancing and using conventional lenders on the back end is just the way to go right now. Okay, so that's the financing options that you have, and that I'm going to show you how to use when we talk about rentals. Okay, so before we talk about wholesaling, we are going to talk about the existing situation today. Okay, so let me see any questions on the chat. No questions on the chat. So before we start the wholesaling, I want to tell you what the current situation is with real estate right now and what the forecast is going to be for the next 6 and 12 months, and what strategies we recommend you take and what you need to stay away from. Okay, so let's get into it. So right now, let me tell you, property prices are still high. Okay, we're pretty much at the peak, and the reason why is because since 2008, after the burst, we've had a shortage of inventory. Now the demand has been greater than the supply, therefore prices are still high, even though due to the crisis they have dropped about 10%. Also, interest rates are historically low, which means that buying becomes cheaper. Therefore, there are going to be more buyers coming into the market. Okay, so having that in place makes the prices still hold high. But now let's talk about factors that affect the economy that are happening today, that you need to be aware of. So right now, unemployment is historically high, 25%, or 40 million people are unemployed today. So what's going to happen is, what's the consequence of people being unemployed? Obviously, they cannot pay the mortgage, they cannot pay the rent. Not only that, but that's going to bring consumer confidence down. So they're going to be holding off, right? They're going to be trying to save. They're contracting the economy. Why? Because they're not spending. So what are the consequences of that? So the government is stepping in with their stimulus, especially, Trump's incentive is to have a healthy economy before the elections. He wants to be reelected. So what he's done is he created the CARES Act. No foreclosures in 60 days after March 18. Okay, so guess what? There are 9,000 foreclosures ready to be filed as soon as the courts open up. But right now they're on hold. So these are all the people who've lost their job and that they can pay the mortgage. They're going to be in foreclosure in the next 3 to 6 months. Second aspect of the CARES Act, forbearance. Okay, what that means is that homeowners in distress who've lost their job do not need to pay the mortgage for 6 months. Keep in mind, this is not forgiveness of the mortgage payment. This is deferment. After 6 months, they've got to make 6 more mortgage payments. If they don't have the money, guess what's going to happen? They're going to enter in the foreclosure process. Now, let me tell you, 10% of homeowners are already in forbearance. 10% is huge. It's a huge astronomical number, okay? And guess what? They can apply for an extension, another 6 months, so up to 12 months that people can be in forbearance. So forbearance is going to hurt so many homeowners because it's not forgiveness. If they can't pay their mortgage in 1 or 2 months, do you think they're going to be able to pay 6 months worth of mortgage? No way, right? So what's going to happen is that brings me to the second point. In 6 months, there's going to be a huge wave of foreclosures coming from the already people who are in financial distress, who can't pay their mortgage, and another huge wave from forbearance. Okay, people who were given the option to hold back on paying mortgage for 6 months, and they still don't have a job, so they're going to enter the foreclosure process. So it's going to be huge. During elections, people just hold back, nothing happens in real estate. But after elections, guess what? By mid-November, the first wave of forbearance, meaning the 6 months, are going to end sometime after elections. So guess what? After elections, you're going to see a huge wave of foreclosures coming back into the market, right? So that we're going to know about them. So what's going to happen when you have a huge wave of distressed inventory coming into the market? When your supply increases, then the price is going to go down. Okay, so we're expecting a drop in real estate prices by the end of the year. Okay, so what is it that you as an investor need to do, right? When that happens. So if you know, think about this, if property prices are going to drop by the end of the year, if you happen to have a flip that you need to sell, guess what? You need to sell it ASAP right now, today, not tomorrow. You need to sell it as soon as possible because property prices are going to start to go down. If you're thinking about doing flips right now, guess what? that is the wrong strategy because you can lose a lot of money when property prices drop. Okay, so keep that in mind. Try to stay away from flips right now. And then for those of you who want to get into rentals, it's going to be perfect timing. Rentals and wholesaling, because as Dan Carlton said earlier, he got 3 properties on the contract in the last week. Why? Because they're going to be a huge, like a tsunami wave of distressed owners, okay, without a job, having to pay mortgage and not being able to have any money. So they will enter the foreclosure process. So you're going to have a lot of distressed owners that you can reach out to and help them get their property on the contract, and then either you wholesale it or you buy and hold the property. Okay, so it's going to be a great opportunity for wholesaling and buy and hold, because you're going to be able to find amazing, great deals in the next 3 to 6 months, lower prices, a lot more distressed owners. Okay, so something to mention that it's important is the stock market. Okay, the stock market, it's been going great, but guess what? The stock market is not attached to the reality of the economy, because a lot of companies, most of them, are suffering from the pandemic, right? So their price to earnings ratio, their sales revenue, so forth, has caused the companies to lay off people. Yet, stock market is very high. Why? Because the government is printing so much money with this stimulus, right? That is mimicking a good economy. So a lot of people, depending on their perspective, they think, well, the stock market is doing good. Hopefully things will reopen and things will go back to normal. Okay, things will never be back to normal or the same as before, but they get the feeling of normalcy. But the problem is that companies' situations is not a direct reflection of what the stock market is showing today. So be just aware of that. Therefore, depending on the perspective, right? People who don't have a job, their consumer confidence is down the toilet, okay? And not to blame them, right? So especially blue collar workers who have lost their job. Because let me tell you, out of the 40 jobs lost, guess what? 50% of them, so meaning 20 jobs, will never come back again in the future. So those jobs are gone forever, right? The other 50% or 20 millions will eventually reopen. They're going to be called back, maybe them or other employees. So the economy is in a contraction cycle right now. So bear in mind, again, you cannot do flips right now. And then if you are going to do projects like buy and hold, please make sure that you are buying properties under 200,000 and that the rehab is less than 40,000. Again, why is that so important? Because if you take on a job that is going to be over 40,000 of rehab, or like a gut rehab, right, that is going to take you months, guess what? You're borrowing expensive money from hard money lenders. If your project takes 3-4 months, guess what? It's going to put you in the fall, beginning of the winter, when property prices are going to go down. So in order for you to get out of the expensive hard money loan, you need to refinance. Guess what? When you refinance, they're going to do an appraisal on the property. And if you don't have the back-end value to support the refinance, guess what? You might be stuck. So and you can lose a lot of money. So please be mindful. If in this economy, this crisis, if you're going to do a real estate project, it has to be small, less than 35, 40,000 rehab, where you need to be in and out of the rehab in 3 to 4 weeks, okay? Anything over a month, please be mindful that it could be very risky, because there are always unexpected things, right? And then wholesaling, again, as Dan Carlton just said, is going to be an incredible business. But guess what? There's always a but. Due to the last year's law, all wholesalers have to be licensed real estate brokers. Why is that? Because before, wholesalers misled the public. They did analysis on deals that didn't make any sense. So the public ended up buying junk, right? So they complained, but guess what? the government could not take any recourse against wholesalers because they're not licensed. Therefore, now, if you want to do wholesaling, you can do without a license only one every 12 months. But if you want to do more than one, you've got to have a license. So take advantage of this downtime, take a step back, get online, and then get your license. It's not too difficult to get a license so you can do unlimited wholesalings because it's going to be huge, a huge wave of distress motivated owners you've got to get in touch with to be able to do wholesales, buy and holds. No flips, please. So that's what's going to happen in the next 6 months. Now, what's going to happen in 12 months, in about a year from now? Guess what? People who requested an extension for forbearance for another 6 months, at the end of those 6 months, guess what? It's going to be by the end of next 2021 spring. So at the end of spring 2021, there comes the second huge wave of forbearance. So again, they're going to be in foreclosure and you're going to have a lot more leads. And unfortunately, property prices are going to continue to drop. Okay, so based on statistics, the most as far as property price drops that we could expect in the next year would be up to 30%. So if a property right now is worth 100,000 in a year, the most it can drop by is 30%. So the same property today that you are going to pay 100,000 in a year might be worth 70,000. You see the power of that. That can have tremendous impact if you're trying to do a flip. It's super risky. Even if you do a buy and hold, because you're using a Harmony lender for the upfront purchase and rehab, you've got to make sure that you do the rehab fairly quickly so that you refinance, do an appraisal, and still your property price holds high, right? Before things continue to drop up to 30% in the next 12 months. Okay, so be mindful of that. Wholesaling, I think, is just going to explode. It's going to be the way to go if you have a license. Because if you don't have a license, nobody's going to want to work with you. And the penalty, the fees by the state, if you do a wholesale without a license, is up to 25,000. Okay, and I believe it's a minor criminal offense. Okay, so it's highly regulated and fines could be very steep. So again, strategies that you need to focus on is wholesaling, buy and hold. Please stay away from fix and flip. Having said that, we are going to tailor the bootcamp on the strategies that you need to focus on. So when we talk about fix and flip, we're going to zoom through that very fast. I'm just going to give you a reverse engineer example of how to do a successful flip, but be mindful. It is extremely risky. And even in today's market, even about 6 months ago, even a year ago, to me, flips are very risky. Why? Because you have to have 3 numbers down very well: the ARV, the rehab, and how much you pay for the property. If you get one of those 3 numbers wrong, you're going to lose money. Okay, we'll talk about that when we get to fix and flip. Now, I want to check if there are any questions very quickly before we dive into wholesaling. Okay, be careful with Homebridge. One lawyer team on due diligence. Okay, so realtor brokerage license to do wholesales. Yeah, absolutely. You need to become a realtor. So friends, are you ready to dive into wholesaling, or do you need a 2-minute break? Do you want to stretch, drink a sip of water, just 2 minutes? Let's take a 1-minute break, okay? And then we're gonna dive into wholesaling. I wanna make sure your brain is fresh. So stand up, stretch, take a sip of water, 1 minute, okay? And we start the wholesaling segment. Okay, Larry, absolutely. Please get a real estate license. If you are thinking about doing wholesaling, you've got to be licensed. So please, I'm gonna give you the resource when we talk about wholesaling, where to get your license. Okay, it's instituteonline.com. That's where I've been renewing my brokerage license, and I love them. Okay, they're amazing, online and in-person training, and they have locations probably 2 or 3 locations throughout the Chicagoland area. So I love Real Estate Institute, and the website is instituteonline.com. What's good online site to get a license? Oh, it's called instituteonline.com. And then it's coming up. I'm gonna type it on the chat. instituteonline.com. Okay, that's where you can get your license from. But it's gonna be on the presentation. So just take a quick 30-second break, breathe, because I need your brain fresh. Oh, Phil, thank you for posting the entire URL. Okay, guys, so let's dive into wholesaling, because this is going to be an incredible strategy that you should all incorporate into your real estate business. Whether you're thinking about building a rental empire, you've got to incorporate wholesaling, okay? So we're going to talk about the basics, marketing strategies, how to do wholesaling, and how to adapt to the new virtual world, how you can do virtual wholesaling, okay? It's going to be super cool. So what we're going to do is explain what wholesaling is all about, okay? So wholesaling is very simple. You're not buying the property, you're not doing the repairs. All you are doing is getting a property, a great deal on the contract. That's all. Once you get it on the contract, then you're going to sell the rights of that contract to an end buyer or a cash buyer for top dollars. Okay, so if you get it on the contract for $90,000, you're going to sell it to the end buyer for $100,000. You're going to make $10,000. Okay, it is that simple. So now let's talk about the 5 components that you need to have to do a successful wholesale. You need to obviously have a consistent flow of seller leads, which we're going to give you. Okay, you've got to be able to figure out the after repair value, so how much you can sell the property for after it's been rehabbed, because the end buyer needs to know these numbers. You've got to be able to figure out the rehab estimate. Obviously, you've got to negotiate with the seller and then market the property to sell it for top dollars to cash buyers, okay, which we're going to do for you as well. So we're going to help you with all 5 components. You don't need to worry about these. So what are the big benefits? Why are people getting into wholesaling? Quick money, right? So the entry barrier is very low. Anybody can get into wholesaling because you need to have any money. Actually, all you need is leads and get the property on the contract. So it's super, super easy to start a wholesaling business. Obviously, you've got to have your license. That's the only legal requirement for you to do that. And then you can make 20, 30,000 in wholesaling fees. I mean, not too long ago, back in December, a DealVault member, Jesse, wholesaled a property over to us for $20,000. He made $20,000, okay? But he got a great deal for us. The owner was happy. He got like $70,000 cash. The bank is happy. Jesse, the wholesaler, made a killing, and we were so happy because we got a great deal. We bought it for $175. ARVs over $450. Of course, it needed a lot of work. So now it's a very low risk business because you're not putting any of your money, right, to buy the property, make the repairs. You're not paying for closing expenses. So it's super low risk. Now, what are the cons of wholesaling? Okay, so the cons are as follows. Very simple. The problem is that you're not building true wealth because you're not buying rentals. All you're doing is pretty much giving away a golden goose potentially, right? So you're getting a great deal on the contract and you're giving that away to somebody else to truly make money on a flip or on a buy and hold. So be careful, because if you find a great deal, remember what I told you about successful people. You can be part of the transaction, right? You can partner up with other people who do have the money to buy it, and you can do more with it. So just be mindful of it. And then there's no real competitive or competition here unless you don't have a license, right? So that's the only requirement. Now I'm going to tell you what it's suggested that you may have, but it's not required. Okay, so you need to form your corporation. These are the 3 sources that I recommend. LegalZoom, I love it, legalzoom.com. get incorporated, and then open up your bank account. Again, it's not mandatory, but it's advisable that you do this. Do you need a website? Not really, but if you're going to get a website, use Kara.com. They do amazing wholesaling sites. They put you on the search engines, so it's really cool. They do SEO, search engine optimization, for you to appear in the organic search results. Have your business cards, again, not required, but I advise for you to have them. Keep in mind, you see all the bullet points there? Make sure that the back of your business card have those, because people typically forget what you do, but when it's on your business card, they'll always remember what you do. Because oftentimes I have hundreds of business cards, and then I just see the name, the company, but I don't really know or remember what they do exactly. When you have these on your business card, it's going to be way more powerful. Okay, super, super important for you to have that at the back of your business card. Okay, that you're gonna, all cash deal, you buy any type of property at their own time frame, super important. And then we suggest you create a virtual phone number using Google Voice. Okay, it's free, easy to use, so that you don't mix your personal with your business. Now, Call Rails and RingCentral, it's a more sophisticated phone system and obviously more expensive. That's when you do a lot of business. You can do call forwarding, and it gets very sophisticated. I personally use Google Voice, and it works amazing. Okay. Now, these are the common situations that sellers go through that are going to be your target audience, okay? So they owe money in taxes, they inherit properties, they can't pay the mortgage, so they're in pre-foreclosure, they can't afford the repairs, they own rentals, and they have awful tenants, empty nesters who are downsizing, like baby boomers, right? In the next That's something important to mention, baby boomers. So people who were born in 1946 to 1964. So they're in their 50s, 60s, 70s. So they are the ones who own 53% of the real estate in the United States. And guess what? In the next few years, they are going to downsize. They're becoming empty nesters, right? So they own big houses. So guess what's going to happen in the real estate market for the asset type of expensive properties, luxurious homes, high-end properties? They're going to come in the market, and that segment of the market is going to drop in value because there's going to be so many of them coming into the market that they are going to increase the supply. Therefore, property prices for expensive homes is going to go down. So that's not helping the economy, right? So baby boomers in the next few years are going to be selling and downsizing their homes. So keep that in mind, okay? So the high-end market is going to have or experience a drop in prices due to the baby boomers. But think of this, the millennials, people in their 30s, those are the ones, who are getting married, who want to buy a bigger house and so forth. So they are the ones pushing the demand up, right? Holding the prices high for property prices, but that's still not enough. Property prices are going to come down due to the crisis, pandemia, and also the baby boomers downsizing. And then you have out-of-state, tired landlords, and so forth. So these are the reasons why people are motivated, right, to sell. This is going to be your target audience. Next, different seller situations that you need to have to do a successful wholesale. You need to have two things: motivation and equity, meaning people really need to want to sell the property, and number two, they have to have a lot of equity. What that means is that they need to owe little to the bank, and the property should be worth quite a lot. Let's say they owe 50,000, but the property is worth 100,000, 150,000. You need those two factors to do a successful wholesale deal. Mind you, there are investors who focus on properties with no equity, so meaning they're underwater, right? So they qualify for a short sale or for a loan modification, but we're not in the business of mortgage, right? So we are real estate investors. So that is why for now, we're just gonna target laser beam on high equity properties, extremely motivated, hot leads, okay? So now the next question is this making sense so far? I hope it's making sense for everyone, okay? Any questions, please post them on the chat. Now, there are marketing strategies. We're going to talk about some low cost and high cost. Okay. So we're going to focus on the low cost, obviously, because why pay a lot of money when you can do it for cheap, right? So the low cost are on the left, and the high cost on the right. Very simple. So what we're going to give you is we're going to give you the leads, not only that, but also their contact information, right? Because when you do direct mail, guess what? It's on the right-hand side, the high cost, meaning sending letters. It's expensive, time consuming, and the open rate is less than 5%. If you sent 100 letters, you're lucky if 3 open up your letter and they call you. What we're gonna do is we're gonna reach out to the owner directly via phone, text, or email. How are we gonna do that? I'm gonna give you the leads of highly motivated sellers with high equity, and not only that, we're also gonna give you their phone number or email, whatever we find available, so that you can reach out to them. That's gonna be the cheapest, lowest option for you. And guess what? The results could be immediate, because sending a text or an email is free and they can get back to you in hours or maybe days, right? Whereas if you do a mailer, it could take weeks before you hear from them. So now the top low strategy, again, we're going to give you a motivated list of sellers with their contact information so you can reach out to them via cold calling. Okay, so what brings me to the next topic is that there are other ways, Craigslist, bandit signs, and so forth, but we're just going to focus on the cheapest, most efficient way of connecting with the sellers directly, right? So next, we're going to give you access to a CRM. It's a system that allows you to keep track of your seller leads, buyer leads. It's an agenda. So for the next 30 days, we'll give you access to our proprietary system. It's very complex. It's got an agenda, tasks. You can keep track of your leads. So you get organized. It's not necessary, but it's nice to have a tool to keep everything in one place. Okay. Now, this brings me to the most important topic. You've got to become comfortable on the phone, especially in this new virtual world. Everything is on over the phone or over the internet, right? So you've got to become comfortable, but worry no more. Why? Because we're going to give you the scripts. So all you need to do is practice, get comfortable. You don't want to sound like a robot. You need to sound like yourself, like you're having a conversation with somebody. So we have 2 scripts. We have the door knocking. So obviously right now with the pandemic, you're not going to show up at their door, okay? But still, we're going to give you the door knocking script, what to say when you show up at the door. Perhaps when things reopen, we're going to give you this, or you can use that. We're going to give it to you regardless. But the seller script is the most important script, because this is going to help you identify their motivation level. So we're going to be focusing on sellers that are truly motivated to sell. Like we call them hot leads. And then you can rate them hot leads, warm leads, and cold leads. We're going to focus on warm and hot leads. That's it. So this is the script that you can follow line by line. We're going to give you access to this. It's a 4-page document that pretty much tells you exactly what to say to be able to identify if it's a hot lead, okay, that they're ready to move and sell the property. Okay, so that's going to be yours. So now let's talk about hot, warm, and cold leads. What's a hot lead? So a hot lead is somebody who is ready to sell. Like, I want to sell. So these are typical examples of people that are ready to sell. So I need to sell my house in 2 weeks. How much are you going to give me? If you give me X amount of dollars, I'm ready to sell the house. I just don't have the money for the repairs. I've got to sell my house, otherwise I'm going to lose it. I don't want the realtor to lease my home. Please buy it cash. That's a hot lead. These are the people that you want to work with, okay? Now you have the warm lead. Warm leads are in the borderline. So they're gonna say, well, you reach out to me, how much are you gonna offer me for my property? I'm gonna be ready to sell in about 3 months. So these are the people that overnight could turn into hot leads. So we're gonna need to keep in touch with them at least twice a month, okay? Super important. And then you have the cold leads. Okay, people who are not interested. So you need to keep these people all together. And in fact, I've been reached out by wholesalers in some of our properties, and they send me a letter, and just for sakes, I call them and I said, obviously I'm not interested in selling, So I tell them exactly what it says right here. So, okay, so you're interested in my home. How much are you gonna offer me? So that tells you that I'm not interested in selling, right? I'm not expressing my motivation to sell the property. I'm saying, what's your top offer? How much are you gonna offer me? Or I'm gonna say, if you offer me this much, I'll sell it. So these people, you've got to skip for now. You've got to focus on warm and hot leads. The script is going to help you categorize these type of leads. Okay. Now, what's most important is setting the appointment, right? So the entire objective of being on the phone with the seller is to set an appointment either virtually or physically, depending on whether they feel comfortable you going to the property, or you can do it virtually, right? So all you need is like a bunch of pictures from the inside of the house, and you need to ask them a series of questions to understand the condition of the property, okay? Just to have a better idea of the scope of work. And guess what? We're gonna give you the script of how to successfully set an appointment with them. So when you are on the phone, you will be able to successfully set an appointment. And most importantly, while this loads, we are going to give you the script and video. It's an MP3 file with Dan Carlton doing a successful appointment. So this is huge. We're gonna make this available, Blue Angel members, so that you can feel comfortable and see how easy it is to make an appointment. Most importantly, we're gonna show you techniques of how you can overcome the seller's objection and get them to make an appointment and finally get them to sign the contract. So this is going to be huge that we are going to make available to you. This is the script of how you make an appointment. So line by line, again, you don't need to memorize none of these. You just need to become familiar with it. And when you go over these enough times, it becomes natural. Like if you were having a conversation with somebody, okay? You're not like a robot reading a paper because you're going to sound boring and uninterested. So we're going to show you, we're going to give you that. All you need to do is become familiar and comfortable with it. So we're going to give you the script as well. Now, factors, I told you, you've got to be familiar with how to compute the after repair value. So you've got to be able to compare apples with apples, you know, the exterior, number of bedrooms, square footage, and most importantly, comps sold in the last 6 months. Through ChicagoDealVault, I'll show you it's all preset for you. All you need to do is click search and you're going to have all the comps for you. Because we have access to the MLS through DealVault, so everything is preset for you. Next, what to bring to the appointment. Let's assume that you made a successful appointment. This is simple, but yet many people fail to do all of these. Okay, this is all that you need to bring to the appointment. Most importantly, we're gonna give you the rehab estimate sheet. It's a one-page document that either when you get the pictures from the seller, if you're doing it virtually, or you actually physically see the property, is going to take not so long for you to be able to come up with an accurate scope of work. Okay, it's a one-pager. Well, that loads. I will also give you the contract. Again, this is given by Castle Law, Gary Davidson. Okay, we're giving all the contracts. It's a two-page contract, non-invasive, non-intrusive, along with the one-page rehab estimator. Let me see if this loaded. Okay, it's thinking. Let me see the contract. So let's look at the contract. It's a two-page non-invasive contract, very simple. So this states how much you are requiring for down payment, how much, you know, the right to assign, right? You are assigning the right of the contract when you wholesale. You're not buying the property. You're just reassigning the right of this contract to somebody else for a wholesaling fee. Conveyance, property defects. So very, very simple. And then we show you through the videos how to get the owner to sign the contract. And the one pager, Phil, please, can you send me the link to the one pager so that I can show that to everyone? It's just that one simple rehab estimator that you need to take to the appointment just to quickly go over and come up with an accurate rehab estimate. And if you see pictures, it works the same way. What's really critical is that when we overcome the number one objection of sellers, which is price, they want the earth, the sky, and everything in between, right? So they want a lot of money, but they don't think about all the work that it takes to bring the property up to code. That's where we come into the picture. That's how we overcome the biggest price objection from the seller when we present our scope of work and say, well, listen, Mr. Seller, I love your house and I like you, but to bring this property to its previous glory is going to take 40, 50,000. Therefore, unfortunately, I cannot offer what you have in mind because we have to put a lot of money into the property. So that's an example of it. But we're going to make sure that you have that available to you. And when you talk to them, your biggest strength will be to listen. Because as Dan Carlton said, we are in the problem solving business. So they have a problem, financial stress, emotional distress. We are there to solve that problem. So please listen, listen, listen. They have to be the shiny object in the conversation so that you can truly give them the proper solution. So now, how much are you going to offer? This is just a formula, but it's already built into the system. So you don't need to worry about this. In ChicagoDealVault, we tell you what the wholesale price you should pay for the property. So we want to make sure that you don't overpay for the property. But the formula is you take the after repair value, multiply that times 70 minus the repairs. And that's the max allowed offer that you can make to the seller, okay? That's just FYI, but in the system, we're gonna give it to you immediately, okay? So again, Phil, if you can please send me via Skype the link, that'll be perfect for the rehab estimator via Skype, okay? Now, overcome objections, as I told you, the biggest objection is price, but we're gonna overcome that by showing our rehab estimate of bringing the property to its previous glory, right? Now, something that I love when trying to get the owner to sign the contract, it's very simple. It's a strategy called fear of loss, right? So fear of loss, what it does is you put something on the table, but not for so long. You're gonna take it away, okay? Oh, thank you, Phil. So I got the, let me pull it up on the screen. So I have the one-page rehab estimator so that you can take a look at it. Okay, while that comes up, I wanna show you the fear of loss, right? So you put something on the table temporarily and then you're gonna pull it away, okay? So this is my favorite phrase, and this is an example, right? So I like you, seller, and the property. Unfortunately, I don't have infinite resources to commit to this deal. I still have 2 other appointments to make it to. So where do we need to be to make this happen? Because if I leave today, I cannot guarantee that my offer is gonna stay on the table. So you never want to leave your offer on the table and let them think about it, because somebody is going to come, somebody else is a wholesaler, a different individual come and get the deal signed. So you never want to leave the offer on the table for days. Either they sign it right there on the spot or you pretty much take your offer away. So it's a fear of loss. It works amazing. So again, we're going to give you this fear of loss. Okay, I got the flip, rent and flip. Okay, so let's see if I got the one pager. So we'll put it up in a second. So the fear of loss is huge. Now, the next step is once you got the property on the contract is understanding when to do, how to move the property, right? So don't worry, because we're gonna help you blast your deal over 10,000 cash investors in our network. We're going to help you through the process. Not only that, but once we do all the blasting of your deal, we are going to help you understand if you need to do an assignment or a double close. The rule of thumb is if you're going to make less than 10,000, it's an assignment, meaning because you need to disclose to both the seller and the buyer how much you're making. If you're going to make more than 10,000, you need to do a double close, because the seller or the buyer or both are going to get very upset that you're making so much money for not adding much value to the property. So Many deals have fallen through the cracks because people making over 10,000 do an assignment instead of a double close. So Gary Davidson is going to help us either do an assignment or a double close, and we have the contracts, okay, for assignment, double close right here. Let me pull it up. So we're gonna give you this assignment contract as well. This is what allows you to assign your existing contract to a cash buyer or an end buyer, okay? Super, super important. So we're gonna show you that. That's the flip to rent calculator. I'm hoping you have, okay, this is the assignment contract. It's a very simple one-page contract we're gonna give to you as well. Phil, I got the flip or rent calculator. I'm looking for the one-pager. It's a PDF document. Hopefully you can find it in the handouts. And in fact, I could technically look for it. It should be on their monthly handouts and then wholesaling perhaps. So Phil, if you can look for that, it's a PDF one-pager rehab estimator because we have a lot of documents. So if you can look in the handouts for the monthly or the Blue Angel field, that'll be great. It should be there. Next, this is just a tip. We can help you find the realtors who've done transactions, especially cash transactions, where you're trying to do your wholesale. It's just a great lead because they know cash buyers. On top of that, in ChicagoDealVault, we have over 60,000 cash buyers. So those are your target audience, people who are used to paying cash and retail prices. Okay, so we are going to give them to you, over 60,000 cash buyers that we have in the system. So right here, let me show you DealVault. So you're gonna need cash buyers right here. So you don't need to build your list or anything. We have that list already here for you, and we give you the contact information of all the cash buyers, over 60,000. So I'm gonna click on cash buyers, and boom, we have 67,000 cash buyers in Illinois. So you can filter them by zip code, city, anything. So this is your target audience. But we're gonna help you do a blast to those cash buyers. So ask questions to ask your end buyer, right? So they may become your client for future deals. So you want to know what they're looking for, what their exit strategies are, whether they bought from wholesalers before, what they're pretty much, you want to understand their business model. And then once you got the property on the contract, you need to show the property. You are going to be there at the showing. Make sure that you show the property only for about an hour or so, so you create that sense of urgency. Everyone coming to see the property all at once. And then all the questions are addressed to you directly, not to the homeowner. Super important. Now, when it comes to getting offers, you're going to disclose to the buyers or your cash buyers, you know, when they need to close, the contingencies on earnest money, and they're going to need to pay for both sides of the closing expenses. Now, to have a successful closing, obviously, Gary can help you do either an assignment or a double close. Now, there are many things that could go wrong that you need to be aware of. One of them is when they do a title search, there could be some encumbrances, past liens, and issues in the property, but at that time, you're going to address them. How? With price adjustments on the contract. The closing process, you've got be in touch with the end buyer and attorney and the seller, okay? So you're putting things together. You've got to keep everyone informed. That is super, super important. Now, some FAQs, do you need to be a realtor? Yes, I told you, you've got to get your license. Another question, should you get your license? Of course, where? That's the website that we posted. Do you need an LLC? No, but it's recommended. Do you need a different phone number? No, but it's recommended. Google Voice. Do you need a CRM? No, but we're going to give you one, okay, for 30 days so you can check it out. There's a question on the line. It says, are your estimates based on final buyer doing fix and flip? Yeah, absolutely. So those are typical cost for doing rehab work, okay, for the end buyer. Now, why do you say I like you and your property? Okay, so that's something to build rapport. That's my fear of loss. I love that sentence, and it works amazing because people like themselves. So if you tell them that you like them, so you're building rapport, you're becoming like a chameleon, right? So you act, your tone of voice, tonality, speed, and so forth, like the end buyer. So when you say, Mr. Seller, I like you and your property, right? But unfortunately, I cannot commit to more than one properties. I have multiple appointments to go between today and tomorrow. So I just want to see where we need to be to make it work and get it done today, right? Because I cannot guarantee that my offer is on the table after I leave. So it's just for building rapport, Clarence. Okay, so next, case study. So this is what you need to do for a successful flip. First of all, you need to identify hot markets, access great deals, do a quick analysis, and boom, wholesale. So this is an example. Well, guys, in the past hour, has this been amazing or well, time well spent? As I like to say, any time spent at the beach is time well spent. So let me give an example of a deal that we recently did about 2 months ago. We bought the property, 110. We sold it for 185 in about a month. So we did what's called wholesaling. So you buy it. So you're not selling the rights of the contract. You do buy it. We had to buy it. It was bank owned, and then we just put it back on the MLS. We did probably $3,000 worth of cleanup, and that's it in about a month. So let me give you an example. So that's an example of wholesaling. But the demo to wholesale a property, like Jesse was in our previous webinar, what he did is he got a building under contract for 155. He wholesaled that to us for 175. So he made 20,000 on the wholesale deal. Okay, so that's just an example of how you can get a great deal on the contract and then sell it to an end buyer, an investor, a cash buyer. Okay, so are there any other questions on the line? So that's what you need to know for wholesaling. And Dan Carlton is a great resource. I gave you his contact information. He makes over $300,000 in wholesaling fees a year alone. So he's huge. He's part of DealVault. He's a great resource that you can tap into his knowledge as well. So the next thing that we're going to do is the 3 keys for you to getting off to a fast start. Access great deals in ChicagoDealVault, connect to owners, and get properties on the contract. So let me just give you a quick sample. So you go to off market. So we're going to find pre-foreclosures, people who can't pay their mortgage. You're going to see how quickly we're going to give you the leads for motivated sellers. Not only that, their contact information. So I'm going to pick, give me 50% equity in, let's say, Lake County, okay? So we're just going to give you owners who are in distress, who owe very little money to the bank, and yet their property is worth quite a lot. So we found close to 300 of them. So I'm just going to pick anyone. Let me see, Waukegan, Lake Zurich. So Lake Zurich is a great area. We have 3 rentals there. So why is this a great deal? First of all, ARV on the property, it's over 350,000. The owner only owes 150,000. Okay, so it's very, very little. They have over 200,000 in equity. So imagine if you can get this deal based on our table, you should get it on the contract for less than pretty much 200,000, right? So this is very much doable. Imagine if you can get it on the contract for like 170. I mean, you can sell these for 30, 40,000 wholesaling fee. So this is how this becomes a great deal. And we found almost 300 of them. So how do you get in touch with the owners? Just click on the owner name, and we are going to give you their contact information so that you can call them, email them, or text them right there. Boom, with a click of a button, boom. Forget about mailers. I mean, feel free to do mailers, but this is how we connect directly with owners. We give you their contact information, email, so you can reach out to them ASAP and get a response ASAP, okay? Because you already know they are under distress. So you want to find out, first of all, what I told you earlier, how motivated they are. You want to work with hot leads and warm leads. And if they're motivated, you're going to use the script to make an appointment, either virtually or physically, and then get a scope of work, and finally get them to sign the 2-page contract that I gave you. Okay, once you get it on the contract, if you get it on the contract, let's say for less than 200,000, I mean, what can you do with this? You can do so much. You can make so much money, and this is important. You're going to be making money not when you buy, rehab the property, rent it. You make money when you get a property on the contract for a great price. That's when you make money in real estate. And the 3 things that you need to engage in to make money in real estate is talking to owners, talking to listing brokers, and making offers. Anything else that you do is overhead, is waste of time and money. Obviously, you need to do that, but that is why we're taking on that job. We want to do the most overhead possible for you so that you engage in the activities that are going to make you money. So that's wholesaling, guys. In a nutshell, it's a quick example. And then if I want to wholesale these, let's say we got it on the contract in Lake Zurich, I'm going to go to the cash buyers, and then I'm going to look for all the cash buyers in Lake Zurich. So tell me all the people who have bought properties cash and pay retail prices. We found close to 200, 190, 196 cash buyers. And again, so we're going to tell you the property they bought, how much they pay for it, if you scroll to the right, and when they bought it. So it's huge. Not only that, when you click on their name, boom, we're going to give you their contact information. So you can call them and say, hey, Donald, I understand you bought this property in this date and you paid this much. Guess what? I've got a great deal in Lake Zurich on the contract. Would you be interested in taking a look at it? And boom. So we give you there lots of contact information, all these emails, so that we want to make sure that you get in touch with them. So these are cash buyers, people paying cash and paying retail prices. So this is your target audience. And we're going to help you do a blast email to over 10,000 investors to help you move your deal. In fact, in ChicagoDealVault, if you go on their off-market wholesale deals, oh, I think there was a question by Latania. So we have right now 42 active wholesale deals, okay? So you can click on them and then see the details. So these, we partner up with the top wholesalers in Illinois. We get a feed of their deals. So if you don't have time, you can just come here, pick up a deal, look at the properties, pictures. You can connect with the wholesaler directly. We don't take any commission, nothing. We just become a marketplace to put wholesalers and investors together. And if you have a wholesale deal, we can post it for you. Not only that, we do a blast email to over 10,000 people. So we help you sell your rights on the contract. Very simple, okay? So pictures, phone numbers, everything for the wholesaler. So Latania, that's how you can get access to it. I think Phil sent me the spreadsheet. Let me see, let me click on it. And then there's a question from John. The Lake Zurich property doesn't show number of bedrooms. Absolutely, yeah, I noticed that, John. So there are oftentimes I've noticed that, like on the property I was showing you earlier, right here, it doesn't have the number of bedrooms. Sometimes it's a data entry issue. We don't know that, but when we get in touch with the owner, just go by the square footage. It's a 3,000 square feet home. So at least it's gonna need to have 3 to 4 bedrooms. So it's gonna be a pretty big house. It has 2 bedrooms, so at least 3 to 4 bedrooms is my guess. But you can confirm that with the owner. Okay, let me pull up this file. Absolutely, this is it. So this is the 1-page rehab estimator we're gonna give you, so that when you go to the property or see it virtually, walk the property, you are going to be able to come up with the scope of work very accurately, okay? Because this is how you're gonna overcome the #1 objection from sellers. Oh, I want this price. Well, Mr. Seller, hold off. This is what it's going to take to bring your property to its previous glory. It's going to take 40,000. I cannot pay you what you're asking for. Plus, when you pull the comps from ChicagoDealVault, you're going to present the lowest comps. As I told you, to pull comps, all you need to do is click on the search button, okay? It's going to do everything for you. Right here, boom, we pull up a comp right now. And then it's going to show on the map. So you can actually click on this comp and see if it's truly a comp. right? So these properties sold in 24 days in Lake Zurich. Yeah, absolutely, right? So this is a total rehab property. But keep in mind, you need to show the lowest comps, properties that have not been rehabbed that look like the subject property, right? Because if you show a very nice, expensive comp, the seller will want to have close to that amount. Well, it's not going to happen because this is rehab and their property is not. Okay, so that's just an example how easy it is to pull comps in ChicagoDealVault. And this is because we have live stream access to the MLS. We're a brokerage, so we access the MLS and we allow you to search the MLS through our brokerage. Okay, so you can search properties, pull comps directly from the MLS in seconds. Okay, guys, so please start making offers, connect with owners directly, and get them to sign the contract. Go over the scripts that we're going to give you the interview with Dan Carlton, how you can successfully set an appointment, either virtually or physically, depending on how the seller and you feel comfortable with this pandemic, right? With social distancing, so forth. Okay, guys, let's take a 2-minute break. I'm gonna answer some questions before we start talking about fix and flip. And remember, we're not supposed to do fix and flips in the next 6 to 12 months, so we're gonna zoom through this. But you just need to understand what this is all about and how you can successfully do a fix and flip. Okay, so Maribel is asking, Gabriel is asking how you can get access to the business credit cards. We're gonna send you a link as part of the handouts at the end of the webinar right here. So we have, where are my handouts? Right here. So as part of the handouts, fundamentals, we have, no, these are the lenders. Let me go back. So we have the, as part of the handouts, we're going to give you access to all the business. Yeah, I actually was the spreadsheet. So we're going to give you access to the banks that you need to call, okay, to get business credit cards. Actually, it should be, hey, Phil, since you're on the line, can you please update, make sure that we have the spreadsheet in on the fundamentals for the business credit cards? If I go back to the PowerPoint, I can pull that up, but I want to make sure that it's in the folder under fundamentals, okay, for the business credit cards. So we'll make that available to you. Another question is, so the wholesale deals on ChicagoDealVault are those looking for buyers? Absolutely. Yeah, Brittany. So they're looking for buyers. So you can pick up a wholesale deal. Another question is, who was the guy who referenced when discussing the house in Iowa? Oh, okay, it was us. It was our deal, John. So we found that deal. We ended up buying it, and then we just wholesale that. So we put it in the MLS and sold it for $60,000 in 30 days. Okay, so let's take a 1-minute break before we talk about fix and flip. Okay, we're gonna zoom through this strategy because you shouldn't be doing flips right now. It's way too risky, especially that we forecast property prices going down. So it could kill your profit and you can end up losing money. Okay, so let's just take a 1-2-minute break. Water break, stand up, stretch, and then we're gonna start. Okay, everyone, let's get started. Let's continue with fix and flip. What's fix and flip? Okay, so when you buy a property, you rehab it and then you sell it. To me, let me tell you, flips are very risky. You have to have three numbers down accurately: the ARV, how much the property is going to be worth after you fix it up, the rehab estimate, and how much you need to pay for it. If you get one of those three numbers wrong, guess what? You're going to lose money. So it's way too risky. We try to stay away from them. We've done only a handful of them, like 3 of them. So what I'm going to show you is a successful flip that we've done, and also I'm going to show you another example of a property like a flip going wrong. Okay, so but before we get into that, let me just quickly show you what's important when talking about flips. Okay? When talking about flips, what's super important aside from knowing the numbers is to understand that you have rental markets and flipping markets. Okay, so this is one of the biggest mistakes. People get excited, oh, I want to do a flip, and they buy a property in a rental market. No, you need to buy a flip in a flipping market. Okay, so what makes a great flipping market? Very simple, friends. A great flipping market is a market where the properties move so fast. Okay, they sell so quickly. It's called months of housing supply. So what that means is, how long would it take before all the inventory for sale runs out in any neighborhood? So if they have, let's say, 100 properties for sale and 50 are selling every month. So it's going to take 2 months, assuming no new properties come in the market. It's going to take 2 months before all the inventory runs out. So the smaller the number, the better the flipping market becomes. So if, let's say, there are 100 properties in Naperville and it takes only 1 month to sell all 100, it's an amazing market for flips. Okay, so let's dive into it. Okay, so flipping, it has pros and cons. Okay, so one of the cons that I don't like, as I told you, is too risky unless you know the numbers. And then taxes, right? It triggers a tax event. When you do a flip and sell the property, Uncle Sam is going to tap into your net profit. So that's the only sad part about flips. After all this work, if you are successful and make money, Uncle Sam is going to tap into your income from the net profit. Okay, so to me, the risks are, or the cons are higher than the benefits. Okay, if you don't know the numbers, if you don't have a good construction background, it could be very risky, because remember, we're in the business of real estate as investors. We're not contractors by trade. Okay, so what I suggest, if you ever think about doing flips at the right time, in the right market, you've got to do small flips, meaning rehab less than 40,000. If you start doing big gut rehabs and additions and so forth, it's totally not worth it. Even I've spoken with big flippers and they are now staying away from big flips. They just want to do simple, small flips. But right now, they're not doing flips because of the crisis, and property prices are going to drop. And this is what I was telling you about what's important. Absorption rate is how many properties are selling every month, and then number 2, months of housing supply. How quickly the inventory for sale is going to run out. So the fewer the number of months that it takes for everything to get sold out, the better, right? And guess what? Don't worry, because we're going to give you a list on a spreadsheet of all the top flipping markets in Chicago, in the suburbs. So this is a list that we've made available. It's part of the handouts. So we're gonna give you the top flipping markets in the city and in the suburbs. Okay, so while the spreadsheet comes up, I want to show you how you're going to finance your flip. You're going to be using hard money lenders, private money lenders, and then on the back end, conventional to refinance. Okay, so if you're a first-time flipper, this is what you're going to need to focus on. Make sure that you stay in flipping markets, ideally 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, get a mentor, and then understand your numbers, ARV, rehab, and the most you need to pay for the property. So build a team, but please, disclaimer, it's not easy. Flips, I tend to stay away from. I just don't like it because not only do you need to know the numbers, you need to do sort of like a really good rehab to command top dollars. If your rehab or your contractor doesn't do a good job, it's going to hurt your market time, your profitability. So to me, it's just too risky. And at the end of the day, you're in quadrant number 2. You are running on the treadmill. The minute you stop doing flips, you stop making money, right? It's just too risky. Let me see if the markets came up. Okay, so it should take a second for these to come up. Okay, so let's continue setting up your criteria. Okay, so we're gonna be targeting only motivated sellers, like what I showed you for the wholesale deals, and then identify where you wanna focus, flipping markets, right? So there are so many leads to find properties, Zillow, Craigslist, wholesalers, but primarily ChicagoDealVault. As you can imagine, we have over 100,000 off-market leads. Now, on the acquisition, please never ever force a property when you are going to buy one property. Consider this is my most important metric. Months of housing supply has to be less than 2.5. Wholesaling, this is what we did with the Ukrainian village property that we made 60,000 in 1 month. So think about potentially buying the property, doing nothing, and putting the property back in the MLS. Okay. Identify the ARV accurately, and then only make offers for a great deal. And we are also going to give you a more detailed scope of work. This is a spreadsheet. It's more than a one-page spreadsheet. So in this spreadsheet, you are going to be able to come up with a very accurate scope of work. Okay. So we're going to make this available to you. Let me check something. Okay. I just want to quickly understand why this is not showing up. Okay, Phil, can you please look into that? Why I might need to go back to the source and then show you the handouts for the Blue Angel fix and flip. I want to show you this scope of work, okay? So this is like a 4-pager, but it has all the expenses, all the costs for every single category, okay? And it has a little bit more. All you need to do is, yes, I need to do this. No, I don't need to do this. It goes from plumbing, HVAC, electric, garage, foundation, demo work, etc. So this is going to help you come up with a very accurate scope of work. So all the expenses are right here. How much it's going to cost to do a bathroom, a kitchen, and so forth. So super, super important. We'll give you access to that. Okay, so case study. This is what we're going to do on the fix and flip. Identify a flipping market, access great deals. We analyze it in second. We get it funded, and then we rehab the property and flip it for a big profit. So I'm going to give you an example, live demo. Okay, so let's do the live demo. Let me log on to ChicagoDealVault. So we're going to do a reverse engineer on a flip that we did. It's 4722 Kedville, that one in Chicago. So this property, what we're going to do is we're going to reverse engineer a successful flip. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the history. we bought the property for 120, okay, which was a great deal. And then we tried to wholesale it. So put it back on the MLS without doing anything to the property. So we put it for 157 just for a week, but nothing happened. So we ended up deciding to do the actual work. It took like 35,000 to do the work. So all in 120 plus 35, that's 157. And we sold it in 3 weeks for $230,000. So obviously we made over 60,000 net profit in about a month and a half. So 3 weeks for market time and 3 weeks for the rehab. So 6 weeks, but plus we lost a week trying to do the wholesaling. So all in, I would say about 2 months, we made 60,000 on this deal. Now let's reverse engineer this. We found this. This is in fact an MLS deal. So we found this on the MLS. So ChicagoDealVault allows you to do alerts right here. If I go to my user settings, deal alerts. Okay, so you can put in your areas, unlimited number of areas. Okay, price range, and we're going to send you deal alerts of great deals. Okay, so very, very simple. Oh, I think I closed off everything. Let me just reopen this again. So let me 4722 Cadwell. Okay, right here. So I close the whole thing. So this property we found in the MLS through our deal alerts. Now, when I show you these details of this property, check this out. So we saw that it was listed for 113,000. So why did we pay 120,000? 7,000 on top of it. That's just insane, but not so insane as I'm gonna explain to you. We knew this property was worth over 230,000. Okay, DealVault estimated a rehab of up to 30,000. In fact, the rehab ended up being 35,000, and DealVault told me that to do a successful flip, we shouldn't pay more than 146,000. So guess what? When I saw the property was for sale for 113, the first thing that I did is this neighborhood is Archer Heights. So I said, well, this is an awesome deal. What should I do? A flip or a rental? So right away, I went to DealVault and searched for months of housing supply in Archer Heights. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna just show you, we analyzed over 300 areas. I'm just going to go straight to the months of housing supplies, okay, for this area. So remember, the lesser the number, the better off, right? So I found out that the month of housing supply is 1 month. So what it meant is that if we try to do a flip and put it on the market, it's gonna sell in 1 month. I mean, it just blew my mind. And indeed, the property sold in 3 weeks. So what I did is, well, this comes up, okay, it came up right now. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna scroll down. It gives you all the summary of the area, but I just wanted to see if I could do a flip or not. So right here, this is where we give the details. So months of housing supply is 1 month. I mean, that was crazy. I said, it's a no-brainer. Let's do a flip. And indeed, we did the work, and we sold it in 3 weeks for 230,000. But why did we offer 120? Because I look at the details, and this was offered by Ryan Smith. Remember, he's part of DealVault, and he's #1 area broker in Illinois. So I said, Brian, what would it take for us to get the deal? He said, Hugo, make an offer for 120, and it's all yours. Done. Because even at 120, DealVault told me that the most we should pay, even if we wholesale the property, was 134. So it was a no-brainer. I said, you got it, 120. So he helped us. We did the rehab, and then on the selling at 2:30, we gave it to Frank Montrose. So he pretty much in 3 weeks made us 60,000. So if you see the details, he listed it for almost 250, and in 3 weeks we sold it for 230. So if I look at the details, then the selling agent, Frank Montrose office. So this is how, when working with the top people in the industry, you're gonna make money. You're gonna be successful. Okay, when you join and work with the top, there's no question about it. You're gonna be making money. They're gonna ensure you make money. We could have listed this property, but I would have listed it for a lot less, and we would have made a lot less money. So working with the top will guarantee very successful results. Okay. Now, on the other hand, it's obviously very risky to do flips because you need to get, again, the ARV right, the rehab right, and buy it for the right price. So there are too many moving pieces, and then your rehab needs to be done properly. If your contractor doesn't do a good work, guess what? You won't be able to sell it for top prices. People are going to complain, and it's just going to sit on the market, and you're going to pretty much spend more money or lose money. Okay, so it's going to be it's not easy to do a flip. But again, in this economy, please, in the next 6 to 12 months, stay away from flips. I just wanted to show you what it takes to do a successful flip. But please don't do flips at this point. Another question is there a contractor database? Yeah, absolutely. So on the preferred partners, we have over 80 contractors and preferred partners that we give you access to right here. Over 80 people that we use for plumbing, roofing, and so forth. So yeah, we do have a list of contractors. How to make offers attractive as a HM buyer versus all cash. Okay, so to make offers attractive, remember you need to have a line of credit to back up the offer. You ensure and you give the seller the confidence that you're going to be able to follow through and close on the deal. So you do need to have your financing in place, right? So I told you, get your business credit cards, get the line of credit to make sure that when you present an offer, it's just very solid. And to make an offer in DealVault is so simple. It takes a second. Let's say I'm going to make an offer. I just click on make offer, put I'm going to make 135 offer. We're going to close on that date. Earnest money is this much, and that's it. All you need to do is submit offer, and boom, in a second we generate the 7.0 contract already with your signature, initials. It's got all the detailed information, including your attorney, your lender, the listing agent, everything. And we're gonna email that to you, so everything is done within seconds. So in just a second, I'm gonna open up the PDF. So it's super, super easy to make an offer. It just takes few seconds, and then it generates the PDF, okay? Any other questions? So again, how to make your offer very solid. Make sure that you have financing attached to the offer, and then you offer what the numbers show right here. Max allowed offer. You cannot afford to offer more than that, otherwise you're going to lose money. Okay, you won't be able to successfully do a buy and hold, fix and flip, or wholesale unless you pay this much. Okay, so we're putting up the contract. So right away generated the contract with your initials, signature, and the last page is going to even have all your mortgage information, your attorney Gary Davidson, the listing agent, everything, right? So very, very powerful, very cool how you can easily make an offer. Any other questions on fix and flips? Because now we are going to, this is just to quickly summarize the fix and flip. This is a cheat sheet that we created. Remember, sweet spot to buy less than 250 in AB areas, access motivated leads, and this is how you quickly analyze the deals. You have to have a flip spread, but DealVault pretty much does all that for you. Make sure that you're going to get funding for your deal. So DealVault will help you create a presentation report that you can present to the lender, and then obviously sell it with the top broker for top dollars. So we'll make that available. This spreadsheet again to you. Isn't that cool, guys? So 3 keys for you to getting off to a fast start when doing flips. Get your funding in a row ready, have access to great deals, and please follow the proven scope of work that we're going to give you and work with the top brokers to sell your flip for top dollars. But again, in the next year, stay away from flips. Too risky. Property prices are going to go down. Okay, guys, so please post any questions that you may have, and then we're going to take a quick break, 2-minute break, before we get into my favorite segment, rentals. This is how you're going to achieve financial freedom and freedom of time. So take a 2-minute break and we're going to get started. Okay. Another question is, if you have a husband, wife, team, and an LLC, can we wholesale 3 deals in a year? No, you can only wholesale 1 year, 1 wholesale deal unless you are licensed. Okay. Even if you do it under your entity, one of the entity members needs to be a licensee real estate broker. Okay, super important. Otherwise, fines are up to 25,000 if you do more than 1 wholesale deals in 12 months. So keep that in mind. Take a sip of water, stretch before we get into. I need your mind fresh before we do rentals. When do you auctions open up? Okay, nowhere nowhere near right now this month. In July, towards the end of July, courts will start to reopen, but that is still up in the air. But I've heard that end of July would be the earliest sheriff's auctions will reopen. So it's going to be at least a month before trustee or judicial sales reopen. Another question, so the list of properties under the auction tab haven't been at auction. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. So the probates, pre-foreclosures, and upcoming auctions, they have not gone to the judicial auction yet at the courthouse. Okay, so those are the properties that you can intercept, that you can buy directly from the owner. You don't want to show up at the auction. We're going to talk about that shortly. It's too risky. You either intercept the property before the judicial auction or you buy directly from the bank. That's what I'm going to cover next in rentals. So great question, John. Okay, so let's get started. Rentals. I hope everyone is back. So let's get to rentals. This is going to be the most powerful segment of today's webinar. Okay, so let's dive into it. So there are many pros and cons, but primarily the pros supersede the cons. Okay, so this is through rentals is where you're going to achieve financial freedom, where you're going to have ongoing passive income, increase your net worth. There are obviously disadvantages dealing with tenants, right? Vacancy and so forth. But that is why we're going to mitigate that with property management so that it doesn't directly take time away from our core activities, right? That are going to make us money, which is talking to sellers, making offers, talking to listing brokers. So in a nutshell, let's just put all the pros and cons. So for sure, ownership of rentals is just the way to build wealth in real estate. And it's a long-term investment and that supersedes the cons. Again, rentability, right? So you need to invest in markets where rents are high and yet property prices are below 200,000. That is the key to do a successful buy and hold or rental. Because there are rentals that are in great markets, but guess what? They're way too expensive and the rents are not that great. An example of that is Evanston. Evanston is super expensive. It's a B plus, A minus area. But guess what? Rents do not support cash flow. okay? Because property prices are way too high, so the rent is not even gonna cover your mortgage. So that's a big problem, right? So we need to find rental markets where rents are very strong, meaning over 1,500 up to over 2,000, and yet property prices are below 200,000, such as Berkeley, Old Zip. Those are the top two rental markets. And again, we're going to give you a list in a spreadsheet of the top rental markets. Okay, so that's a spreadsheet that again shows top rental markets for flips and for rentals in the city and in the suburbs. So these are the top rental markets in the suburbs: Berkeley, Hillside, Ridgeview, Allsip, Chicago Ridge. We have hundreds of them. And then in the city. So these are the top rental neighborhoods in the city. So we give you, if you scroll to the right, we give you a lot of details. So this spreadsheet is going to be yours, so that you invest in top rental markets. Super, super important. So now you've got to understand the foreclosure process. Let me just quickly go over this in a few minutes. In the United States, there are two types of states, judicial and non-judicial. So the blue states, including Illinois, are judicial. What that means is that the banks need to go through the court system to foreclose on the owner. Therefore, these states can take up to 2 years to foreclose on the owner, whereas the gray states or non-judicial states, they don't need to go through the court system to foreclose on the owner. Therefore, they can foreclose on the owners in as little as 6 months. In Georgia, for instance, can foreclose in as little as 3 months. So it's crazy. That is why the blue states will always be lagging behind, because distressed properties are going to recycle back in the market in up to 2 years, whereas the gray states or non-judicial in as little as a year or less. So huge difference. So now let's go over the foreclosure process. So in here, very simple. We're gonna go over from left to right. So this is where it starts. If the owner miss a payment, then right away after 30 up to 90 days, the bank is gonna be chasing them, right? Via phone, letters, emails, you need to pay where you promised to pay. If they don't come current with the loan, the bank is going to file a lawsuit against the owner. So they're going to be officially in pre-foreclosure. So the bank needs to go through the court system. Right now, that's what I said. There are no foreclosures due to the CARES Act. 60 days after March 18, not only that, but right now, the biggest law firm handling foreclosures is Codilis. They have 9,000 foreclosures ready to be filed. So they're not taking any more applications. It's crazy. So there's going to be a huge wave when the courts open up, potentially end of July, October, where there's going to be a huge wave of foreclosures coming down the pipe. Okay, so that is the first stage of the foreclosure process, and this is where we come into the picture. We can talk to the owner, because we know which ones those are. You're going to get notified, and we can tell you and filter them by equity, right? So where they owe little and yet the property is worth a lot, and we give you their contact information. So if you can talk to the owner and get them to sell you the property, that's going to be awesome, because they win, they don't lose the property, the bank wins, and you end up with an amazing deal. So the next step is, when the owner doesn't do anything, we don't do anything as investors to help them. Then after 9 to 12 months, the judge is going to issue what's called the notice of trustee sale. So they're going to officially issue the auction date for the property. You're going to get notified about this. And this is my favorite lead type, because in 40 to 90 days, they're going to lose their home. So they're going to be extremely motivated. So imagine, we know how much equity they have. So we're going to target high equity properties and motivation. They're going to be extremely motivated, else they're going to lose everything, their home equity, and ruin their credit. After that, if we still don't do anything or intercept the property before it goes to the judicial auction at the courthouse, it's where you never want to show up, where it says auction, because going to the courthouse it's like a Shark Tank, right? So investors will overbid each other. They buy sight unseen. They had to pay cash within 24 hours. You can lose your shirt, okay? So you never want to buy properties there. You want to intercept them. The benefits when you intercept the property is that you see the property from the inside, you have no competition, you can finance the transaction, and you will not overpay for the property because you are seeing the property from the inside, right? Via pictures, virtually or physically. That is why you need to intercept the properties in the two previous stages to the judicial auction. Now, if at the judicial auction, nobody buys the property, guess what? The property is going to go back to the bank, what's called a bank-owned property. And at that point, you could buy the property directly from the bank. Obviously, you have to focus on high equity, small banks. But guess what? We are going to give you the ability to buy properties directly from large banks, from any bank that has taken the property in their books. Because what the bank is going to do, they're not in the business of real estate, they're in the business of lending. So they want to dispose of the properties. They're going to give it to an area broker like Ryan Smith, Joe Mueller, who are going to put it in the MLS, and they will also send the properties to the main auctioning platforms, auction.com, Hubzu, and so forth. So what if, let me show you, what if you could stand in line, no competition, and buy the property for what the bank is willing to sell it, despite what other investors are bidding on the auctioning platforms. Imagine zero competition. And this is an example how we're buying deals right now due to our connections. This is an example of a property that actually we closed 2 weeks ago. So we're going to finish the rehab end of this week. So it's going to take us 3 weeks. We already did a webinar on this before rehab, and then we're going to do another event showing you the property fully rehabbed. So at this point, the highest bid was 198. And if you look on the right-hand side, there was still 1 day left before the auction ended, and it was at 198. So ChicagoDealVault told me that the most we should pay for this property was, if I do a flip rental, if I was going to do a wholesale, the most we should pay was 160. And the already highest bid was close to 200,000. So there was no way we're going to get into the bidding war at the auction inside, because we have the connections to buy the property at the reserve price, meaning the lowest price that the bank is going to sell it for. Okay, we knew the ARV on the property, 280. We knew the potential rehab estimate of up to 30,000. So right now, what we did is we were able to buy the property directly from the bank, regardless of what people were bidding for. So we got in the contract for 161, boom. Therefore, we could do a wholesale, a flip, a rental. And what's really powerful is that we ended up buying it for obviously less than what anybody could buy, 70,000 less. So imagine if you could buy properties without competition, finance them, and pull them from the back door. That's what we allow you to do. That's extremely powerful. So right now we are going to spend about 30,000. Going back to the numbers, this DealVault figure was super accurate. We're going to spend about 30,000 on the rehab. It's light to medium rehab, and we are going to pretty much do anything we want, either a flip, a buy and hold, most likely. We won't flip it for sure. Right now, it's not the time to sell. Actually, it's the time to sell, but we don't want to sell it. We just want to continue to accumulate rentals. So that's an example of one property where we give you the ability to buy directly from large banks, no competition from the back door, regardless of what people are bidding for. Now, let me give you our strategy, how you can build $1 million empire, 20 rentals. We've done 29 in the last 2.5 years. So this is what the formula is called. So you buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. That is the secret sauce, friends. So let's go step by step on how this is done. This is another example of a property in Cicero that we pulled from the back door. So it was on the auction.com site, and they said, you know, the property is worth 242. Well, we got on the contract for 100,000 less than that, 135,000, and the rehab was very low. It was less than 15,000. So we ended up buying the property for 60,000 K less than what anybody would pay for it at the auctioning site. So again, it didn't matter what people were bidding for. We ended up buying for the bank's reserve price. So we did the scope of work. In this case, this is the secret sauce, friends. We're putting everything together. So please understand this. So we requested, we created the scope of work 30,000, okay? And we take into account cushion for 5 to 10,000. Again, we're going to give you the spreadsheet, the detailed scope of work, so that you can come up with the same numbers we did. And these are the numbers. We bought it, we rehab it, total all in 147. So this was the original condition of the property. So as you can see, it's in fairly good shape. And then after the rehab, all we did was like painting, clean up the floors. We put the vanity. No, actually, it was only the mirror and the lighting in the bathroom. The rest was there. So we were able to rent it for $1,770 after we refinanced the property, meaning we put it in a rental loan. So we paid off the hard money lender who gave us the money for the purchase up to 90% and 100% of the rehab. We still cash flow $420 on this property. So we are in the fourth quadrant. Remember, leveraging from other people's money, other people's time. So not only is this asset increasing our net worth over time and cash flow because property rents go up on a yearly basis, but we are leveraging from debt, good debt, because we're not paying for the loan. The tenant is paying for the mortgage, interest, tax, and insurance. And on top of that is putting $400 positive cash flow on a monthly basis in our pocket. So this is the secret formula to achieve financial freedom and freedom of time owning rentals. And most importantly, on the back end, when we refinance the property, all in 147, they appraised it at 225, and we only tap into 66% of the ARV to pay off the 150 that we borrowed to do the rehab and the purchase. So we ended up with equity of 77,000 or 34% of the ARV. So imagine if you do 5 deals of these on a yearly basis, you're increasing your net worth by over 250,000 on a yearly basis. It is that simple. And again, you are using very little money out of your pocket because guess what we did for the rehab? We have to fund the rehab up front. We use the business credit cards, right, to pay contractors, electricians, plumbers, materials. So once we finished the rehab, we requested a draw from the bank and they paid off 28,000. With the 28,000, we paid off the rehab, the business credit cards, 12,000, and we even had extra money to offset the down payment. So we paid about 50,000 to close on this property. We used the remaining 17,000 to offset the down payment. So pretty much it was very little money out of pocket. So this is how we recycle money. This is how you have very little money in the deal. And this is how you leverage from other people's money, other people's time, meaning the tenants that are going to be paying for the debt or the mortgage, principal, interest, tax, and insurance. And on top of that, you cash flow. So imagine if you were to have 5 rentals. So that's an additional 2,500 in your pocket, in addition to the equity, right? So, and that's going to continue to go up on a yearly basis. Next, would you like to be our next case study, right? So getting ready, right? So once the property is rehab, make sure that you clean it up, everything is ready for the showings. And the next question is, are you going to be managing the property or will you have a property management do it for you? So my advice is to use a property management company because you don't want to get into a lawsuit with the tenant because the landlord-tenant ordinance favors tenants. So you don't want to have a lawsuit and end up paying thousands in fees and attorney's fees. So my advice is for you to have the property management deal with the tenants, and they typically charge a percentage of the rent, or the one we use is a flat fee of $50. So by far, it just makes sense for you to manage, to buy more rentals, to focus on making offers, talking to sellers, agents, and not manage the properties. That's going to save you a lot of headaches. Okay. So we're not going to talk about evictions because right now everything is closed. So this is the final and best exit strategy. You identify the rental markets, which we're going to give you. You identify great deals, which we give you access to buying properties directly from the banks. We analyze them in seconds. DealVault tells you the most you should pay for the property. Funding, we give you access to over 22 asset-based lenders. So they're going to be looking at a great deal that if it has equity and cash flow, you get funding for it. And then finally, you're going to buy and hold. So you rent it, you refinance, and that's the BRRRR formula that allows you to build $1 million empire. Okay. So this is our cheat sheet for rentals. Let me quickly show it to you. So identify the markets, make sure that you access great off market deals, probates, pre-foreclosures, upcoming auctions, wholesale deals, you name it. Analyze the deals in seconds. So DealVault does that for you, but we give you some of the formulas for you to understand the numbers. Present the deal for funding. DealVault is going to generate a report that you can present to lenders for funding. And finally, use the proven formula to buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat the process to build $1 million empire. Because remember, in the next 6 to 12 months, property prices are going to go down. So you've got to really focus on rentals. Right now, cash is king. So stash cash because lenders are going to be looking for liquidity. Okay, they want to make sure that you're able to follow through, do the rehab successfully. So you can find, and you'll be able to find incredible deals even now, but you'll have even better opportunities in the next few months, 6 months up to 12 years, because remember, property prices will potentially drop up to 30%. What today is selling for 100,000 could potentially sell for as much as or as little as 70,000. It's just crazy, but that's what the economy is contracting, is leading us to, with all these foreclosures coming down the pipe, the forbearance, the baby boomers bringing more luxury high-end properties into the market. That's going to affect property prices. Despite the fact that we have the historically low interest rates, property prices are going to go down because sales in the month of April have dropped 50%. So that's already causing a 10% drop in prices right now, 7 to 10% drop in prices. And what's affecting the entire economy is primarily consumer confidence. It's down the toilet, and unemployment at historically high 25%, or 40 million people, right? Losing their jobs, not being able to afford their basic necessities like home, shelter, paying the mortgage, the rent. That's a big problem, right? Despite the government stimulus of 1,200 or 500 for dependents, an additional 600 per month of unemployment, which, by the way, that's going to end at the end of July. So it's going to put additional stress in households. Okay, so all of that combined, is contracting consumers' spending, is adjusting property prices, meaning property prices dropping. Supply is still low, but in 6 months, a year, there's going to be a huge wave of foreclosure, distressed properties coming down the pipe, causing property prices to obviously continue to go down. So please focus on rentals, focus on wholesale deals, get your license, stay away from flips because you can lose your shirt. Already, even 6 months ago, to me, flips were extremely risky. You need to get all these numbers down, ARV, rehab, pay the right price, and do a good rehab, right, to command top dollars. If you miss any of that, you're going to lose money. So stay away from flips, please. Right now it's the time to do wholesales. It's going to be huge for wholesalers if you have a license, because there are going to be thousands and thousands of distress owners that are going to be your clients. Okay. And then rentals, of course, make sure liquidity is going to be king, cash, because that's what is going to allow lenders to give you the funding for the purchase and the rehab. You have to have funds in the bank. Um, okay. So now the three keys for you to getting off to a fast start: access great off market deals through DealVault, get funding, stash cash, watch the market. You're gonna get amazing prices down the road in the next few months, up to a year for rentals, and apply the proven blueprint of financial freedom and time, which is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. That is the true secret of financial freedom, and most importantly, freedom of time. So can you see yourself doing all of these, friends? It's going to be super cool. And then many people have asked us, so should we flip or rent? Guess what? We've created a spreadsheet that we're going to make available to you, where you plug in a few numbers and it's going to tell you whether you should flip it or rent it. But the formula in a nutshell is, if your net flip profit is going to be 10 times the rent collection for the entire month, for the entire year, then you need to flip. But if your net profit for the flip is less than what you can make net cash flow in the entire year, then you need to buy and hold. So we're going to make this spreadsheet available to you. Isn't that exciting, everyone? Awesome. So this is what you will have happen for you once you become a member of DealVault and take advantage of everything we put together for you. So you're going to be able to identify hot markets, have an abundance of great deals, connect with the sellers and secure the deal, get funding for your deals. Very important. Have an abundance of cash buyers to sell your deals for top dollars. Have access to the right partners.
We can't hear you.
So imagine, thank you. Can you hear me now? Perfect, thank you. So imagine if this give you the ability to get a home run deal, right? Because it's about time that ordinary investors like you and I get access to these home run deals that the pros are taking. So it's about time for us to level the playing field, and this is what we're giving you, right? Access to the leads, the analysis, the funding, the knowledge, the training, even the ability to partner up with ChicagoDealVault on deals, which is huge, right? Because imagine, what's one home run deal to you? Like the properties we got, 70,000 less. To me, that's how much that property, the home run deal is worth. 70,000 that we're paying below what anybody else would pay, and zero competition, be able to fund the deal. I mean, that's huge, right? So that's how the pros think. What's the value that I'm getting in exchange, right? Ordinary investors think cost. Oh, how much is that going to cost me? No, you need to think value. What's the value that I'm getting in return? So, friends, money comes and goes. Obviously, it goes more, but this is the key. Uh, Time does not replenish, right? So you can spend months and years of your valuable time trying to figure this out, but instead you should save that time and effort and work directly with us. Why? Because we've been there, we've done that. So it's going to require a small investment on your part, but in exchange, you are going to get that money back. And most importantly, the time spent in trial and error is wasted effort and is gone forever, and time will never come back to us. So it's a precious intangible asset that you need to value. So again, we want to make sure that you start with the right foot. That is why we're going to give you technology leads, unlimited training, and the blueprint of freedom of time and financial freedom so that you replicate our success. Again, we've done 29 rentals in 2.5 years. We want to make sure that show you that it's possible, because in 2.5 years ago, we were in your shoes, so it's 100% doable. So friends, before we wrap up, how many have you learned at least one thing? How many have been reminded of at least one thing? I'm sure most of you have been reminded of at least one thing. Okay, so awesome. I see a lot of hands. I see a lot of comments. Perfect. So I'm super excited that you are learning in this downtime, because that's what you need, right? You need the training, the knowledge. So when you're ready to pull the trigger, boom, you're ready. So this is what we're going to introduce, the $1 Million Portfolio. So this is what we have to offer. If you're not yet part of DealVault, we have two plans: the monthly, what I call Lamborghini, and the yearly, the Blue Angel. So the Blue Angel and the monthly, pretty much on the yearly, you're going to be saving not only money, but we're going to give you a lot more resources to make sure there's nothing on the way standing for your success. So obviously through DealVault, you're going to have access to all the leads, all the cash buyers, private money lenders, reports, phone app, deal alerts, comps, everything, right? But on top of that, with the Blue Angel or the yearly subscription, we're going to give you access to the CRM for free. And most importantly, we're going to give you access to the bank-owned inventory that you can buy directly from the banks, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 less, no competition. This is you standing, no competition. You can fund the deals. No need to negotiate, nothing. We already know the banks reserve what you can pay for the property. We are also going to dedicate a personal virtual assistant to help you find off-market deals. So even if you don't have time to access the system, it's okay. We are going to dedicate. We have 2 full-time resources. All they do all day long is find off-market deals on the areas you are interested in. Again, we're going to be able to partner up with you on deals. If you have a great deal, present that to us. If it meets the criteria, that's an area that we're interested in, we can partner up on the deal, okay? Next, we're gonna give you access to the video from Dan Carlton to setting up appointments, get them to sign the contract. So this is huge. That live interview. Again, we're gonna do a blast email to help you move your deal. You don't need to spend money on mailers or anything. We already have a network of over 10,000 cash buyer investors, okay? And then we're gonna give you access to the top flip and rental market, so you don't have to break your head or do driving for dollars, think, create, nothing. We're gonna give it to you. Where you need to invest for flips, for rentals, we're gonna give you access to the detailed scope of work, so you come up with exactly with the same numbers we're coming up with. We will also give you our cheat sheets, right, for flips and rentals, what you need to follow, what you need to do. Make sure that you don't make any mistakes, okay, on the process, step by step. We will also give you our flip or rental calculator. And finally, if we were to put a price to all these benefits, if you were to get it individually, it's over 14,000, obviously, but what I like to say is that it's priceless. So we're gonna give it to you for the low price of $120 a month. Is billed annually, pretty much is less than a cup of coffee a day, okay? So either you can join for the monthly or yearly, which you're gonna save over 20%, and we have unlimited one-on-one training with you. Once you sign up, you schedule the training or trainings, you can have as many as you need. We have enough resources that we're gonna allocate for your success. We wanna make sure there's nothing standing on the way for your success. So you can either upgrade to the Blue Angel if you are a monthly subscriber, or sign up for either one of the 2 packages. So I wanna make sure there's a 30-day money back guarantee. So we're gonna give you everything, all the handouts, over 15 artifacts for handouts that today I showed. We're gonna make those free, available to you for monthly or yearly subscribers. Try it. There's nothing for you to lose before 30 days. If you don't like it, you're not happy, or if this is not for you, it's okay. We're gonna give you your money back, and you get to keep all the assets, artifacts that we give you, even the knowledge, everything. Because we want successful investors. That is where we're going to allocate and give you all the resources possible for you to be successful today, not in 6 months, not in a year. I want to make sure that you start with the right foot, not make the mistakes we've made, other investors have made. I want to make sure that you start and continue with the right foot on any strategy that you decide to take. And right now, I'm telling you the strategies that you need to take on is wholesaling and buy and hold, no flips. So I told you the current market conditions and what you need to do today. Okay, so this is your competition. They need to go through an entire mess, so complicated, and that is why most investors don't make it or don't make it to the level they could. It's just too complicated, too many roadblocks in front of you. So with being part of DealVault, you're going to have access to the entire team, top key players in the industry. In fact, yesterday I met with George Wyatt, Andrew Holmes, Rahul Vishal, Gary Davidson, a bunch of great key players that we met up yesterday. It was just incredible, right? So you're going to have access to all of them, which is huge, okay? Who you hang out is who you become. So it's about time for you to drop your bicycle and start flying a Blue Angel. I want to make sure that you are successful today and avoid the costly mistakes many people make. You've got to be able to make it, and make it in the 2 to 5% of the top successful investors who get in real estate. I don't want you to be part of the 95 who don't make it to the level they could. I want to make sure that you join the ranks and start taking all these home run deals that the pros are taking. We're leveling the playing field by giving you access to the right information at the right time, right training, right resources, right team players, top key players at your disposal. There's nothing on the way standing for your success. And friends, right now you have two choices, right? Either do nothing, do not take this leap of faith, or pony up this small investment today compared to the entire value. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we're going to give you your money back, guaranteed 30 days. You can try. You have nothing to lose. The real question is, are you willing to gamble these few minutes to test this out? Even if it does half of what I showed you today, it's just going to pay for itself. Friends, I don't have any supernatural powers. In fact, I'm not the best at estimating rehabs or analyzing deals, but that's what I love about the system. It does it all for me. I don't have to think, create. It just gives me the answers when I need them. Okay, so that's what I love about the system. And friends, as I can go on with my evening. This is already working for us. We're very successful, but it's not about us. It's about you. I want to make sure that I help you break out of the old habits, because if you do nothing, my guess is that by tomorrow morning, you're going to slip back into your old habits. You will do what you've always done, and that's what most people would do. But because I'm your friend, your mentor, your coach, I want to make sure that you break out of all those habits, because if you want real lasting change in your life, you need repeated exposure to the whole system, and that's what you get when you become part of the network today, okay? So again, this is all that you're gonna get, the entire access to the system, but the Blue Angel is gonna get the CRM. You're gonna be able to buy inventory directly from the banks, no competition. We're gonna dedicate a VA for you to find you great off-market deals already analyzed with the owner's contact information for all the areas, as many areas as you need. This is priceless, all these including partnering up with us, access to the training videos from Dan Carlton to become comfortable, setting appointments, getting the owner's motivation, qualified, and most importantly, will help you blast your wholesale deals to the entire network. We're gonna give you the top flipping rental markets in a spreadsheet, the scope of work detail, our cheat sheets we use and the pros use, and the flip or rent calculator. So all of these combined has pretty much an incredible value that I call it priceless, right? So for less than a cup of coffee. So if you're ready to change your life, all we need is, if you're ready, you can send us via the chat. Right now we have Lovely and Phil who can help you upgrade to the Blue Angel today to have access to all these benefits, or sign up. So the way to sign up is for the Blue Angel. Let me show you. So I'm going to send you the link via the chat that you need to fill out. So this is the link to sign up right now. And remember, so you need to select for the package, special Blue Angel, and the promo code is success. So the package, I'm gonna type it in, special Blue Angel, and the promo code is success. Okay, it could be lower or uppercase. So this is what it takes, sign up, and then we are so much looking forward to making all these resources available to you so that you're successful today, okay? I wanna make sure you all drop your bicycle, start flying a Blue Angel. We need to start joining the ranks of the 2 to 5% who are truly successful in real estate. So I wanna make sure that you are able to have that financial freedom, and most importantly, freedom of time for you to do what's truly meaningful in your life and never ever miss a single highlight of your loved ones again. And the reason why we share everything is because we were in your shoes 2.5 years ago. So I want to make sure that you start with the right foot, you continue with the right foot, and you become successful today, not tomorrow. So if you want to upgrade, just send us a message via the chat with your name, email, and Lovely and Phil will be able to upgrade you right now. And all of you who join the webinar are going to get the handouts, okay? So we have the handouts for the monthly subscribers and the Blue Angels. So you're gonna get everything that I show on the presentation, you're gonna get today, including the recording for today's bootcamp. You are going to get that in your inbox. Those are for the Blue Angel, okay? So again, that's how you sign up. That's the URL. You can upgrade by upgrade when you send us either an email to support at ChicagoDealVault.com, and just in the subject, just say upgrade, and then we'll be able to upgrade you from the monthly to the Blue Angel. Okay, very simple. Or via the chat, we have Lovely and Phil on the line so they can quickly upgrade you. We already have your billing information if you're a monthly subscriber. If you are new, you can sign up either for the Blue Angel or special Lamborghini for the monthly plan, okay? And again, it's 30 days money back guarantee. So if this is not for you, that's okay. We're gonna give you your money back, and then you get to keep the knowledge, the training, the leads, the artifacts, everything we're giving you today, okay? So I'm gonna stay on the line and leave Phil and Lovely on the line for the next 15 minutes to help you answer any questions or help you sign up or create. Okay, now another question is, do we have to request the documents for the Blue Angel? So if you don't have them, please send us an email, Debbie. I want to make sure that you all have it. So please send an email to support at Chicago Deal Vault, and we'll make sure that you have all the artifacts, okay, that we presented today. So if you're already a member of Blue Angel, thank you everyone for joining today. It was incredible having you. We had a great crowd. Please take advantage of all the resources and scheduled trainings, unlimited training. So I'm gonna send you the link for trainings. Okay, so schedule the training. If once you sign up, you can schedule one-on-one training, and we have unlimited training, okay? So we are here, Phil and Lovely, ready to help you. Thank you, Phil, for posting that. So all you need to do is send us an email with the title upgrade, or via the chat, you can just say, please upgrade me, and we will upgrade you right away to the Blue Angel package. Okay, and you'll get all the benefits ASAP. So somebody said, okay, any questions? So I'm gonna remain on the line. So Daniel, Sherry, so it's 140 a month, okay, or 120 per year. We're gonna make all these resources available to you today. So as soon as you sign up, boom, you'll get everything. So that's the Blue Angel, and for the Lamborghini, you need to select the special Lamborghini promo code, either bootcamp or yeah, the promo code is bootcamp or success, either one of those. So promo code is bootcamp. I'm gonna make sure promo is bootcamp or success, either one of those two. So the only difference is if you're going to do the Blue Angel, you need to select in the package special Blue Angel, or if you're going to do the Lamborghini, which is the monthly membership, special Lamborghini. And the promo code is either bootcamp or success. But I want to make sure that all of you have access to all the resources available. So again, thank you for joining today. And I want to make sure that you take advantage of this promotion that we are running right now. So we're going to stay on the line for the next few minutes, 5-10 minutes to help you answer everything. So this is all you are going to get today, okay? So which is priceless compared to the price, and again 30-day money back guarantee. So 120 for the yearly, it's billed once, or the monthly 140, and again 30-day money back guarantee. So everyone, please make sure that you take action today, because as I said at the beginning of the presentation, we have doers and dabblers on the call. So I want to make sure that you have the great news to make a choice today. So I hope you decide to be a doer, where you take action, because the doers are the ones who truly get ahead in life. The dabblers, they don't seem to really progress in life because they find any possible excuse not to move forward, right? So they love to sit, learn, listen, acquire all this knowledge, but they do not take the next step. So please, I want to make sure that you have the option tonight and become a doer, where you take action. You obviously don't know how this is going to work out for you, but you've seen how it's worked so successful for us, and you have faith in yourself, and you know it's going to work very successful for you. Okay, so having said that, we're going to remain on the line to help you answer any questions. Abelardo, congratulations. We'll upgrade you to the Blue Angel. So Phil, please, lovely, take a note of that. So again, you're going to be saving money. When you are on the Blue Angel, you're going to be saving about 15 to 20% on the membership. So if you're already on the monthly, save money by upgrading to the Blue Angel. It's billed annually, and you are going to take advantage of all the benefits mentioned right on the screen. So congratulations, Abelardo. And everyone, please, I want to make sure that I end this webinar with my personal advice. I 100% empathize with all of you because I've been in your shoes. Therefore, we are 100% committed to your success. Your success is our success. That is why I want to make sure there's nothing standing on your way for your success. I want to make sure that you join the rank of the pros, the 2 to 5% of successful investors. I don't want you to be on the 95% who don't really make it to the level they could. I want to make sure that you are taking all these home run deals that we're taking, that the pros are taking, by taking advantage of all the resources we've made available to all of you, including access to the top key players in the industry, who they become part of your team, they become at your disposal, they will ensure your success. Thank you, Larry. That's so funny. Yeah. I'm very passionate about what I do. And, in fact, I did a webinar earlier this morning for 3 hours, now 3 hours or more. So I've been on the webinar today for over 6 hours, but I do it with so much pleasure and joy because I know a lot of people have become very successful by us sharing our resources. So I want to make sure that all of you are successful. I want to make sure that all of you join the ranks of the pros, not only the very few, right? Because guess what? The difference between them and us is nothing. Why? Because they have the same number of hours a day. They have this similar IQ than you and I combined. The only difference is that they have access to the right resources at the right time, which now we are making available to all of you. Okay, so the entire team behind DealVault, the entire team of sponsors and mentors are available to you, and that's what makes you us successful. Okay, having access to the right team, because in real estate you cannot make it successfully by yourself. You need a team of people to help you grow and be successful, which we're making available to all of you. So yeah, thank you for joining. I'm super excited. I don't get tired because I'm passionate about what I do. uh, Okay, so hey Phil, can you post the Chicago DealVault phone number, or at State, if you can give us your phone number, Lovely and Phil can call you right away to help you answer any questions, individual questions, and obviously I'm always available, so they can conference me in. So thank you very much, Juan, for staying at the end of the presentation. I appreciate all your support. You've been an incredible investor. Kudos for you, and a great friend. So thank you for your support, Juan Loya from Homebridge. Okay, Phil Lovely, please take note of Ad's phone number. Please call Ada today. And we'll be reaching out to all of you just to make sure that if you have any questions, we'll be happy to work with you. Okay. Okay, thank you, Lovely. So again, please make sure that you enjoy what you do, you find your passion, and most importantly, take advantage of resources that are made available to all of you so that you don't start from scratch trying to reinvent the wheel. We've been there, we've done most of the groundwork, and most importantly, we're making everything available to you. Okay, want to make sure that you become successful today. And then, yeah, RJ, make sure that you reach out to Juan. So we posted Juan's phone number. So make sure that you reach out to him on VA loans. Okay, super important. So Juan can get in touch with you. We'll give Juan your phone number. If you can put it on the chat, we'll make sure that Juan Loya gets your phone number so he calls you personally to explain to you all there's to know about VA loans. So RJ, if you can post your phone number. So thank you everyone for joining today, and we'll remain on the line for the next 10 minutes to help you answer any questions or help you sign up. Again, to sign up, all you need to do is fill out this form and then select for the package special Blue Angel, or Lambo, okay? And the promo code is bootcamp. That's how we can help you get started, or you can send us an email to support@ChicagoDealVault.com and then say upgrade, and then we'll make sure that we send you all the resources, all the materials to your inbox. Yeah, I'm super happy. We had a great crowd today for being a Sunday, and that these many hours, that says a lot about you. So I'm super proud of all of you who stayed at the end. Pretty much we had over 97% of the people who joined at the beginning stayed at the end. So that makes me so happy and very proud of all of you, because that says that you are truly committed to your own success, and we will make sure that you have resources available for that to make it happen. Absolutely, Viera. So the Blue Angel is the yearly. Sorry. So the Blue Angel is the yearly subscription, with which ends up saving you 15 to 20%. Okay, perfect, Viera. Congratulations. So feel lovely. Please make sure that you get Viera sign up. If you're already a member, we'll just upgrade you. If not, Viera, if you could please fill out the form, this form, and then select special Blue Angel. Okay, so I just sent the link up above, and we're so much looking forward to helping you be extremely successful and be part of the 2 to 5% of the people who join the real estate who truly make it. Okay. So again, promo code bootcamp, special Blue Angel. So thank you, Viara. So much looking forward. And friends, we're continuously running events, 3 events a week, because we want to make sure that you are all trained and have access to all the resources. Make sure that you send a text message to download our phone app. It's 818-818 DealVault. Okay, so you're gonna get a response with the link to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store to download our phone app. Pretty much that gives you access to over 100 training videos, and they are in chronological sequential order. Okay, so make sure that you have our phone app. Yeah, thank you, Phil. Oh, okay, James. So make sure that you select special Lamborghini, okay, and it should show 140, okay? So let me just show you. So user, password, and then special Lamborghini. When you continue, or you agree to the terms, when you continue, it should show 140 instead of 190, okay? So make sure that you select the special Lamborghini, and then click on click account, and right here it should show 140. Okay, so please make sure that you select the special Lamborghini. If you select standard Lamborghini, it's going to be 190, which is actually retail price right now. But make sure that you select, James, special Lamborghini. And here is the list of all the areas that you can select, because we are going to assign a dedicated virtual assistant to help you find creative market deals. So whether you have time or not to access the system, it's irrelevant, okay? We are going to send creative market deals to your inbox. So we're all gonna remain again on the line to help you sign up. Make sure that you take advantage of this. Again, 30 days money back guaranteed. If it doesn't work out for you, if you don't like it, that's okay. You get to keep all the training, all the materials, all the leads, everything, okay, at no cost. We're gonna give you your money back, okay? So you have nothing to lose but the stress and headaches of trying to find great deals, trying to do deals, trying to get funding. All that, you can say goodbye to all of that. Once you get set up, trained, and everything, you're gonna be flying a Lamborghini. Sorry, flying a Blue Angel or driving a Lamborghini. And then I want to make sure that all of you drop your bicycle, okay? So that you start doing deals and start um, attaining your blueprint, your financial freedom, and freedom of time, most important. Okay, so if you're looking at the sweet spot for area analysis reports, Daniel, and then space is empty, what is the, oh, DE means detached. Okay, so those are single, detached means condos, duplexes, townhomes, and AT stands for, sorry, I take it back, Daniel. Detached means single family homes. So I'm gonna put it in the chat. DE equals single family homes. Single family homes, and AT equals attached. Those are condos, okay? 2 to 4, those are multi-units. So if for the sweet spot there's nothing or there's a blank space under any of the columns, that means that there's not enough inventory to come up with any numbers, okay? So that's what it means. But it's good that you're looking at the area reports, which is huge. I love the area reports. As I told you, for this property in Archer Heights, by looking at the report in few seconds, we knew exactly what strategy we should take. So that's super powerful. You know, when people say, you know, I'm driving for dollars, to me, it's like, oh my goodness, you're wasting your gas, you're wasting your time. We already done all that research for you. We can tell you what the area is all about, like the back of your hand. I mean, you can still do some driving just to identify some pockets, some streets, but that's about it. You need to really know the area at the more generic level, right? So you don't need the driving for dollars, because you're gonna miss a lot. You won't be able to know household income, crime rates, rents, vacancy, months of housing supply, and so forth when you do driving for dollars and you're looking for deals. That's why we already have vacant properties, right? Distressed properties that are technically not for sale, but we give you access to them in ChicagoDealVault. These PMLs are individuals, seriously. Most of the time, PMLs are really HML once you scratch the surface. So PML, please, Daniel, refresh my memory. What does that stand for? PML? Oh, private money lenders. My brain is toasted right now. So the private money lenders are individuals. Yeah, absolutely. We have 6,700 private money lenders in the system. So most of the time, private money lenders are really hard money lenders once you scratch the surface. Well, let me tell you, not really. Private money lenders are primarily individuals. There are some entities, corporations, but they're owned by just few individuals. Compared to hard money lenders are institutions, like really large, like Renault, Constructive Loans, Lima Capital, Barnett, Patch of Land, just to mention a few. Those are really big institutions. Some of them are nationwide. We're going to give you a list of 22 hard money lenders. So they're super strong. They're backed up by hedge funds. They have a lot of money versus private money lenders or individuals. They may have a few $100,000 sitting in the bank that they can lend it to you in exchange for a nice return, like 12%, 2 points for 4-month term. So yeah, no, we have over 6,000 private money lenders that you can reach out to. Okay, Indiana, for the shadow inventory, bank-owned properties that you can buy directly from banks, we're getting a lot of properties in Indiana. Okay, even though we focus on Illinois, we get a lot of properties in Indiana. So absolutely, you can buy properties from the bank directly in Indiana. So we give you access to that. How would you suggest beginning a relationship with somebody? So my advice is to pick up the phone and call any of those private money lenders and say, listen, I understand that you lend some money on this neighborhood. I'm a real estate investor investing in the same neighborhood, and I was wondering if you would be interested in making a 12% return on your money. I would love to understand what you're looking for, right? So always think what the other person's interests are, right? So, and you're going to get very far ahead, right? So don't try to sell yourself. It's not about you. Understand what the other private money lender is looking for. They may not have money readily available, but they may have money coming in soon. So always keep in touch with them. That's super important. Don't call them only when you need them. Build rapport. Be yourself. Try to understand what they're looking for, right? So obviously private money lenders are looking for a return on their money. Try to find out what that is and if they have the funds available to lend right now, but just reach out to the ones that are in the areas you want to invest in. We give you the contact information, and again, just be yourself. Find out what they're looking for. Tell them that you are a real estate investor interested in investing in those areas, and that you are willing to pay them a 12% return on their money, which is super attractive, right? Nowadays, with interest rates being so low, putting their money in the bank, they're going to lose money. So that's my advice. And then when things reopen, why not? Take them out for lunch, take them out for dinner, get to know them at a personal level, right? Ask open-ended questions. That's the key. Not narrow questions where it's a yes, no answer, open-ended question. So try to get to know them. What is it like for you, right? When that you're a private money lender, right? What is it that you're looking for when you lend money to investors? Try to find out what they're looking for, what their interest is, asking open-ended questions. So that's my advice, Daniel. Another question, how do I make Indiana my target area? So just send it to us via email, James, and then we'll make sure that we'll help you find shadow inventory or bank-owned properties in Indiana.